Okay. Guys, it's been a while since we were back. Start the e-call. What the heck's an e-call, Dad? We're getting there. Oh wait, I need to make sure my camera's not on. Hold on. Okay, we're good. Start the e-call. The e-call. We started the e-call.
What's up, bitches?
This one.
Dudes?
Hey.
My dudes. Yeah, daddy.
So what's up, guys? E3.
I saw it.
Are we live? Are we live?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, we got our logos there and everything. Let's go.
Let's logo.
That's nice. You got some ice water there, buddy? What do you got? What you drinking there, bud?
The root beer flavored sparkling water.
That's
What the fuck?
really
Why
weird.
did you just have root beer?
That's
Veronica-
really weird.
Trying to cut the soda out, boys.
I don't like that. I don't like that for you.
Dude,
Why, dude? I'm trying to be healthier. I'm turning
Yeah.
30 this year. Like,
What I'm trying to
see
say,
that.
I'm almost 35 and I'm drinking. I had a Coke for dinner and what's the you think you're better than me?
yeah, dude, I totally am. I do think that.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about that today, actually. That's one of our themes of E3 is how much better than you I am. All right. Let's get started. Guys, welcome to it's Thursday.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. That's like you're our soundboard, I guess, until we get an actual soundboard.
You guys want a soundboard? I can get a soundboard.
Yeah, dude, get a soundboard.
Yeah.
We need
dude.
birds. We need
Um,
birds.
Hondo.
Fertz. Okay.
We should make one of the noises on the soundboard. It's birds.
Fertz will be one. We'll each have one. Okay.
Yeah. Gabby says, "Dude,
Why is it
Mine's
that?
Game Pass.
Game Pass, Game Pass, Game Pass." Dude, that'd be
Best
great. Every
deal.
time there's a Game Pass game announced or you talk about it, we just drop that Game Pass.
Just drop it like it's hot.
All right. While you're setting that up, everybody, welcome to Thursday. It is, or it's
I'm just
free.
messing around. Yeah. You do your thing.
It's our special E3 / post E3 / middle of the week. I guess E3 is over today edition. We should have called the show or it's E3. That would have been fun. But anyways, welcome to Thursday. We've had a lot of announcements.
You
this
could
week.
name it that.
Yeah, there's nothing.
Yeah,
stopping
well,
us.
Yeah, I'm gonna post that tomorrow. Fuck it. You guys are right. Thank you for inspiring me, dudes.
You inspired yourself, but we just gave you that little nudge, to say it's okay.
Look, we're a
As long-
collective now. So on Thursdays, we're all a hive mind. So when I thank one of us, I thank all of us.
Very well.
Is that okay?
It's more than okay. I'm glad you're thinking of us.
There's
Me too.
times where I don't think it's okay, Gabby. I feel like you're fine. You know what? It's fine. Anyways, welcome to the show. E3 is over, or at least the press conferences are over. So the three of us are going to talk about it today. Lots of announcements, lots of exciting stuff that we've been kind of discussing between the three of us. But also, I guess it's kind of exciting because we haven't talked as much about, I guess, like our individual feelings on the conferences. Obviously, we talked like throughout them, but going back and kind of grading them a few days later, I'm pretty excited to talk to y'all about what that's going to look like. So. But it's myself. You guys know me, Dan, Doxy on all of the social medias, and then Devo, whose channel we're on right now, Devin, Dr. Ice. Do you like Dr. Slice? Did you hear that in our intro?
No, Dr. Slice.
Dr. Slice, baby. Yeah, dude, you need to listen to the intro that we did, our first or
pretty
it's free
sick.
announcement that me and Gabby were just riffing on each other. It was so good.
I like that. I like that.
And then we got Game Pass Vape God, Gabby. Saw, dude. Saw.
Game Pass Vape God.
Dude, that's your new between that and Lebanese Daddy.
I'm
Those are your
Rad
new-
Dad. Rad Dad right now.
Rad
is
Dad.
Rad Dad, is
my-
that
Hell yeah.
Rad Dad and Dadchella is like my summer vibe I'm going for.
Dadchella.
Yeah. I can't Shane called it Dadchella and I'm like, I'm taking that. So I like it. So I'm into it.
Sharps off, boys. July 1st.
Herps offered.
Bird. I was going through our Knockout City profiles last night, looking at all of our levels, and we're all pretty much in the same spot. But it's been a little while since we played together, so I'm excited to
Yeah.
jump back into it.
Yeah, I uninstalled the game. I had to make some space. I'm just joking. I did not do that.
Fucking Game Pass, dude. Game Pass,
You
Gabby.
almost just sprayed my coffee, man.
It's still installed. I'm down to play it. I've been wanting to play, but every time I like have a moment to play, I've been playing Halo campaign. I have three levels of Halo 1 left to do.
Nice, dude.
Yeah, dude. Don't play Miles or Fallen Order or any of the other games that you're.
That's
in the
what I'm
middle of the
saying, and,
campaign of,
and
like-
that's exactly why I didn't buy Ratchet. I loaded up my PlayStation 5, dude, and I went to the store, and then I forgot. I knew, but I forgot the PS5 exclusive like price hike. So it was like $80 plus tax. I was like, should I buy this right now? Like, I have Miles to play, I have this to play, and that to play. I probably
Final
won't play
Fantasy.
this right now, so I'm gonna hold off. I do very much want to play Ratchet and Clank, but I know we'll probably talk about that a little bit later. But yeah,
I mean, I'm going to talk about it right now, really quick, because I want to focus on E3. But Ratchet and Clank,
Sure,
Final
you
Fantasy.
want to go
7.
over like what we've been playing this past week or so? Then
Yeah, let's do that. Well, let's do releases quickly because right before E3 last week, it was Thursday when we did the show for Summer Game Fest, like when we kind of recapped that. But that night, Final Fantasy 7 Remake Integrate came out for PlayStation 5, and then
Yep.
Ratchet came out a few hours after we recorded. So it was a pretty busy week for the PlayStation 5 last week going into E3. So yeah, I've been playing a lot of Ratchet, still kind of, switching between the games that I've been playing. Biomutant, Ratchet, and MLB are kind of my three right now, and then Knockout whenever you guys are down to play. But yeah, Ratchet's great, man. Like it's kind of the way I described it to a friend. I'll keep it really, really brief, but it's to PlayStation software what Astro's Playroom was to PlayStation hardware, and that by me, I mean it's a celebration of like franchises in the past, like the way that they really like use the riffs and the kind of the multi-dimensional setting of a Ratchet and Clank. It's just there's just a lot of moments that made me smile in the game, just from like little Easter eggs and little pieces of lore from different PlayStation franchises. I don't know if you guys saw this a couple weeks ago, but like they announced one of the guns in the game like creates a portal to different PlayStation franchises and drops like items in. So that's not all of it. Like there's more to that in the game, in the form of different kind of codex entries and stuff like that. But just a ton of fun. Put a huge smile on my face to see some of the Easter eggs to different PlayStation franchises that we haven't seen in quite some time. I'll leave that as kind of a secret, but I'm sure you guys know what I love, so you know what I would want to see in this game. But yeah, it's kind of everything that I've wanted. So can't recommend it enough. A little bit on the short side. It's about 15, I think 16 hours for the whole game, which is, Gabby, to your point, like it's a little bit, it's a full price next gen game, so it's a little bit on the pricey side, but I mean it's absolutely worth it. It's hard to justify not playing this game regardless of the price point. So Ratchet Clank Rift Apart, yeah, love it, so good.
question for you,
Sure.
as someone, speaking for myself, who's
Yeah.
never played a Ratchet and Clank game, is it okay to jump in from this point?
Yeah, I think this is kind of the good thing that I think Insomniac does with the Ratchet games is like if you know the background of it, it really makes it better. But any point of entry, other than maybe like a few, any point of entry really feels like you can jump in and if you wanted to do more like supplemental reading to kind of understand some of the characters and stuff like that, you can. Even for myself, like I haven't played every Ratchet game, but I've played I think all of them since PS3, except for I think All for One is the only one I haven't played.
There's quite a few of them, right?
There's 24 titles, so there's a
That's
lot.
Oh.
wild. Yeah,
my
like, I didn't
God.
know that until I
I thought
actually
they were
did
like
some
high single
research.
digits. That's
There's
crazy.
There's a
No,
bunch.
man,
Yeah.
it goes back. So you got Ratchet and Clank, Going Commando, Up
I
Your
don't expect you to
Arsenal.
name all of them. That's okay.
I'm doing it right now. Deadlocked. So there's 4 for PlayStation 2. I think there was 5 or something like that for PlayStation 3.
And they've
And
all
then-
been made by Insomniac, correct? Has Insomniac, are they tied to every single one?
If I'm not mistaken, they've made all of them. Yes.
Interesting. Yeah, I've never played them before. That and like Jack and whatever, your
Jack and
your
Daxter.
favorite. I've never played them before, ever.
The Jack and Daxter games aged, in my opinion, they've aged very well. They're just really, really good platformers, and they're cheap. I
So
think they're $5 on PlayStation
an-
right now. You can get the whole bundle
another
for 15
question
bucks.
then for you.
Yeah.
What was the last Ratchet before this one? When did that come out?
It's kind of a tough question to answer, but like the last, like chronologically, was on the PS3, but the last game to come out was PlayStation 4 2016 Ratchet and Clank, which is like a soft. It was a soft reboot slash movie tie-in, but it was not a full price game.
Mm.
But I would. This is a continuation of the story from like Tools of Destruction from PS3, Quest for Booty, Rift,
Quest
Crack
for
in
Booty.
Time. Yeah, Crack in
A
Time.
good name.
Into the Nexus. Like there's like a couple that continued from the main line, but the 2016 PS4 version was a movie tie-in that like was just kind of like a I guess for folks that had never played one before, it was an entry point, but it wasn't as deep as some of the other games. So I wouldn't play it. It's fun. It's not the best of Ratchet, is all I would say. Crack in Time and Rift Apart really do exemplify everything I think that the series does well. So those are the two games I would always recommend playing. That and Tools of Destruction, I guess, because it kind of ties into Crack in Time.
Just to get
Okay,
a
so
little bit more.
there's 10 main series games and then a bunch of spin-offs.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
crazy.
To get a little bit more info, would you say this is the best one, best Ratchet Clank to date?
I haven't beat it yet. It's definitely like propped up to be that. Like it's everything I've ever wanted in a Ratchet and Clank game. It takes everything from the Spider-Man games and even like makes that work in the Ratchet game. I think Insomniac is at their best right now. Like they're the best they've ever been. But a personal favorite of mine was Crack in Time. Like that had an emotional story. Like a lot of people seem to have really loved that game on PS3. It's one of my favorite games ever. So
Wow. Okay.
this will probably like take that I think by the end of it, just based off of what I'm feeling so far. But it's neck and neck. Crack in Time, Rift Apart are probably the two that will always resonate with me the most.
Cool.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I'm excited to check it out at some point. It's a visual showpiece, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, the performance ray tracing mode, the 60 frame ray tracing mode, it just looks unbelievable. Like I'm glad it was there day one because I never got to play that in Miles. But if that's going to be there for all of their games going forward, that's definitely the mode of choice that I would play in.
Yeah, it seems like Insomniac's the only dev right now that's been able to like do ray tracing slash performance mode and do it well. So
I was
kudos
gonna
to
say
them.
this seems like also like a quick turnaround. Like Miles came out at the launch of
6 months, 7 months. Yeah, it's like
yeah,
it's
like
been the
they must have been side by
Insomniac
side,
is
still pumping out
yeah,
PS5 games. Yeah,
and you can only imagine they're probably already working on the sequel, like a true sequel to Spider-Man as well. So
yeah.
I think
they're like, to what Ortega's saying, they're definitely like firing on all cylinders right now. They're like super locked in.
Yeah, this is the best iteration of the studio I think so far. It's just their last three games have all been hits. You know, not even thinking about like Sunset Overdrive, that was a great game too. So like
Yeah,
they haven't missed in a very very long time, but they're definitely at their peak. Like I think Paris Lilly said it on one of the kind of funny game casts last week, but they're now in the upper echelon of developers. They've always been kind of like that B plus, like A minus developer. Where you're like they're just under Naughty Dog, but I think their last couple of experiences are in my opinion, solidifying them in that echelon of like the Naughty Dogs, and some of
arguably
the
the
other
best developer
studios.
in the world. Yeah.
Yeah, like I think the argument could be made. It's tough because coming off of Last of Us and Uncharted 4, those are really loved games. But like if you're looking for variety, like that's I think where Insomniac shines. They're really good at
Yeah,
like
I was gonna say
making
that
things
about
feel
Naughty Dog.
cool.
It's like they're good, but
And
they're good
even
at
like
like what they're good at. Like
replayability as well, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's just I don't know, man. There's
Like
nothing I can only say positive. Also, platformers. Keep in mind, platformers don't really like live that often anymore. So like they fill that void a little bit. Like to have a great platformer in 2021 that like has set pieces that live up to games like Last of Us Part Two and like Uncharted. Like there's some moments in Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart where you're like, man, like this is a Sony blockbuster. Like you don't think about them in that same regard, but like they're right there with some of the Horizon set pieces and some of the Last of Us set pieces. And they tell heartfelt stories. So they're really doing some great work. So shout out to Insomniac Studios. They're fucking killing it right now.
mm, for sure.
Yeah. But that's it. That's what I've been
Wicked,
playing.
man.
I don't want to dwell on it too much longer because you guys have been playing games too. But yeah, no, fantastic game.
All good, bro. What have you been playing, Devin? The huge. I know
other
you've
than
been
the
doing some charity work too, buddy.
Yeah, other than the usual, yeah, we did our big charity work, our charity tournament this weekend for Overwatch. But I guess the newest thing I've been playing is Control. The Ultimate Edition
Nice.
came out for free on Epic, so I hopped into that. God dang, that game's pretty. Holy, that game traces some rays. Oh, it's
Traces of race.
I've played like maybe like an hour to an hour and a half of it, so like not too much, but
Nice.
narrative and like the narrative is really cool so far, and just like the like I don't know, it's like really polished looking, like it looks like super solid. And then yeah, visually like there's so many like moody looking environments with different lighting effects and like crazy like particle effects. So you like see a light beam shining through, but then you see those little specks of dust floating around in the sky and stuff. Like it's pretty unreal. Like because I don't have like my monitors are 1080p as well, so it's crazy like how much that enhances the visuals.
Yeah.
And aside from Control, I don't think I tried anything new. Just been Overwatch. Really, it's been a busy weekend of Overwatch for me.
Nice.
Can I ask you a question? Just having finished Control a few months ago, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, yeah.
But are you finding? I found it hard. I don't want to say hard to follow the story, but like it's definitely like a little bit all over the place, like in terms of like trying to figure out what's going on. Have you been like reading all the lore and like trying to like piece together all of the elements of the story, or are you feeling kind of lost in the narrative as well?
Not yet. Like I'm not too far into it, so I don't feel lost
Okay.
yet. I'm at the part where I feel like I'm supposed to be kind of lost, where like I don't quite understand everything yet. But like the more I play, I'm sure I'll start to pick things up. But
Don't you
mostly
just
I've
love
just
that in a game?
yeah, like
Oh
if the games
man.
do it well, like if you go through the whole game like Ortega's feeling and just being like I don't know what the hell's going on, but if they do it where you like see something and you remember it but don't know like what it's for, and then
Yeah.
you see what it's for, like and you can connect it, like that feels really good for sure.
Your aha moment. Ortega just doesn't can't follow games. He's just, you know.
It's not like there's a lot of the story or just like the actual house, like you have to read on it like to understand like some of the previous characters. Like it's not necessarily lost, but there's a lot of corners that like if you don't go and find stuff or certain messages or like even some of the videos, I'm sure you've seen some of the projection videos, like a
Mhm.
lot can be lost on you if you don't go and explore like every nook and cranny of the game.
Yeah, yeah.
um so it's not that I necessarily felt lost, but it doesn't tell the story in a linear way, which makes sense because the game doesn't really kind of follow time in a linear way either. Um, but it's tough. Like there are moments in that game where I was like what, like what's happening? Like what's the name of this person? Like why am I in this fucking random motel? Like I don't quite get it. And then when you get into the Alan Wake stuff, it starts to like kind of fuck with you even more because you're like, wait a second, what? Like Alan, what's going on with Alan Wake? Like how does he fucking factor into this whole thing? Like what's this whole joint universe shit? Like it starts to get into some pretty wild stuff. So.
Definitely one of those games where like yeah, I can't. I have to like see it to the end because if I take a break and go back to it, I'm gonna be totally lost.
Yeah.
I did also think of actually another game that I have been playing that I never tried before, which is on Game Pass.
Pass,
Mm,
Game Pass, Game Pass, Game Pass.
There, like yeah, there.
there it is. Yeah. Right. Is it
um,
here or is it
no,
here?
I put it to your bottom right now or bottom left. Yeah, there you go.
This one?
Perfect. Yep.
Yeah.
So I see a bunch of people playing Minecraft, and I saw Dragon Quest Builders. Now it's like, man, I've been so interested in this game. So I downloaded Dragon Quest Builders 2, and I started playing that.
It is on Game Pass. That's right.
It's pretty cool.
Shout out to Phil Spencer.
It's got a really cool mix of like it's clearly like a Minecraft heavy like crafting game.
Yeah.
But characters give you quests like to build specific things with certain requirements. Like you need to make this many bricks high with a door in it and some beds to qualify as a house or a room, and like they'll give you quests to, like do little buildings and stuff. And then you also have like another character who's part of the story who's like um, the whole like the story's cheesy, it's Dragon Quest, so like your character's like a master builder, which is much like the Lego game that's kind of similar. And there's like a partner friend that you have that's like not a master builder but he wants to become one. So you can actually use him with another player and you can play co-op and you can do like the whole game 2 player, which is also super cool because the first one I don't
Nice.
think had that. But yeah, it's a really solid crafting game with like cool JRPG elements. It's got that sick Toriyama art style. So like I named my guy Chrono. He's got cool red hair. Looks just like Chrono. There weren't many options, but
Nice.
if you like those old school JRPGs, but you also like something a little different, I
Yeah.
recommend it out, or I recommend checking it out, especially if you got that Game Pass. All right, that's
Yeah,
pretty
Game
much it.
Pass.
That's all I can remember for now that I've been playing. What you got, Gabby? What have you been playing?
So for me, I've been playing some more Halo 1 campaign anniversary edition, switching back and forth between the OG style and the new and then a more updated style. And like I've been playing it and I like it's crazy how much you forget. And like I've played Halo 1. It's one of the few games I've actually played through multiple times. Specifically co-op, generally usually. Like this is like my first time actually playing through it solo. So it's been fun and like there are moments I'm like I don't remember this like at all. So I'm trying to like absorb as much as of the lore and story as I can. And I forget like how cool some of the level designs are. I remember there was one level I was playing last night and it was essentially like, almost like a puzzle-ish type tower where you just kept going up with the with 343 spark whatever the digital the little robot thing,
Yeah.
and like you're fighting the flood. I'm like I forget how much I fucking hate the flood because the flood really aren't in any of the other Halo games
Are they the
as much
dudes
as they
that
are in
like
Halo
explode
1.
into the little tiny dudes after?
Yeah, like
fuck those.
exactly. They're fucking annoying as
Yeah.
hell. And I'm playing on normal and I'm like just to just to beat it through, right? And I'm like this is actually some parts of the game are really challenging. And I'm like fuck, and like you're just replaying it and like it's kind of like you have to like okay, I'm going to do this instead of what I did last time just to get through the one part. So, it's been a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying that. And then I actually downloaded some of the demos from the Xbox demo event.
I saw
I
Tunic.
played Tunic with Kara briefly, yeah, which was really cool. I actually have to check when that event is over because I want to play a little bit more, maybe some tonight. But I was telling Ortega I downloaded a game called Echo Generations. I'm pretty sure it's a indie. It is an indie, but I'm pretty sure it's a Canadian dev. I forget the name of who they are, but I remember seeing this trailer a while back. I forget what it meant, and like that one looked really cool. And it reminds me of a Super Nintendo RPG from that like time frame.
Oh,
And
it's like
it
Earthbound,
gave
but like
yeah, that's exactly what I told Ortega. It gives you Earthbound vibes. It's really fucking cool. So I'm excited to play more of that when that game finally comes out because it'll be on
Okay.
Game Pass, Game Pass, Game Pass, Game Pass, Game Pass. So
Coco Cucumber, I think, is the name of the dev.
yeah, it's the art style's really cool. The I'm like yeah, it really feels like that Super Nintendo RPG era
What?
type of game. It's really cool.
Dude, one guy has
I,
hockey moves.
yeah, it's a turn-based combat. And I'm pretty sure one of the dudes also wears like a Maple Leaf jersey, so it's pretty dope.
That's sick.
Yeah. Yeah, but
Oh
that's
yeah, he
all I've been
does.
playing.
Yeah. He's got like a little Canadian jacket.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I'm gonna put
dope.
that on my wish list. That looks awesome. Oh,
Yeah.
free
We
demo.
knew, I think, if I'm not mistaken, we saw it last year. And Gabby, I think you called it out on that basis, if
I
I'm
think
not
I
mistaken.
think it did do debut on last year's Xbox event
Yeah,
during the whatever they
I
had.
think
Oh,
I even think Devin, I think we actually because we're always in like the E3 like kind of group chats together, but like I remember us like calling out something where the guy was wearing a Maple Leaf jacket or like
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, so like vaguely remember it, but this is that game. It kind of I guess disappeared
dude, one of the
and
tags for it
resurfaced.
is 1990s. That's perfect. I'm
Yeah, it's
totally in
really cool.
that.
I think both of you would probably really enjoy that game.
It looks like
Okay, I'm gonna
Steam's got
check that
like
out.
a similar festival thing going on right now. So I'm gonna go download that demo
Oh, nice. If it's yeah, I think Steam did have the same kind of demo event. I don't know if that demo will be on Steam, but if it is, download it
yeah,
for sure.
because I had the old Tunic demo, so I'd like to try that new one and see what's different.
It's
It
crazy
was
to me
like
that
super
one
basic.
that there's only one developer making Tunic. It's
Yeah,
wild.
yeah. What a pretty little game for one person.
Yeah.
Um, I downloaded the demos last night, like all the ones that kind of had I had some interest in, but there's a lot on there. Like there's I think there's 40 game
Sable's
demos,
on there,
but
dude.
yeah, I downloaded Sable. It's
What?
on there.
Oh, say I thought
I'm
you said
off on
Fable for a second.
Saturday.
I was like, what the fuck?
No. Um, my plan is like on my day off this week, I'll probably be kind of like running through some of those demos and just trying them out
I'm
after I
just
beat
googling real quick
Ratchet.
when it's over.
24th, I want to say.
Is it on
Yeah,
for a little bit?
I can't get the
I
demo for
think
this.
so.
I keep saying
To
demos out loud.
21st. It's on the 21st it ends, so Monday.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
So
So
you have
this
the
weekend
weekend to
sometime.
play. Yeah. So if
Okay.
yeah, that's definitely what I'm gonna be doing this next couple days because I'm off.
Um. Okay. Well, I mean, some good stuff. So this kind of, I guess, segues in because this is all part of obviously E3. The reason that these demos are available, and Summer Game Fest. So we talked about the kickoff last week. So we're gonna not talk about the kickoff because that was like literally right before I guess we started recording. I think we actually started. We did an
Yeah.
early show last week. We did it at 5 o'clock instead. So we'll jump in kind of on Saturday since we took Friday to kind of think about the announcements for Summer Game Fest. We had some of the Netflix stuff on Friday, so some exciting stuff got announced. I'm super excited about the Splinter Cell series that got announced. Just the sheer acknowledgement of Splinter Cell was already a victory. So fucking kudos to whoever made that shit happen because it's about goddamn time. Um, I don't know if you guys saw, but I did tweet out a photo. As many of you know, I live down the street from Ubisoft Toronto, so I made sure that after the Splinter Cell series was announced, I took a photo and I will be there every day until a new game is announced in the Splinter Cell series. So um.
That'd be incredible, man. If you made that happen, I feel like a lot of people would envy
We gotta
you
get this
It's
guy on the
and
funny.
front
probably
porch.
idolize you.
I have a few friends that work at Ubisoft Toronto, and it's just interesting to hear like how discouraging they are about there any possibility of any Splinter Cell happening, and me insisting that it needs to happen. So we'll see if
It's
there's any
never gonna
future.
happen.
I know it's not
In
gonna happen, man.
Ubisoft
Fuck off!
fashion,
It's
it'll
not gonna
never
happen,
happen.
okay, man. You saw my tweet to Annapurna Interactive that
Oh,
took off.
dude, your tweet went viral. That was
No, it was
wild.
wild, dude. It's got so many likes. It was great. It
Like,
was good meme use, bro.
I think you hit 1,000 likes or something, dude, or
Did
close
I?
to.
Dude,
I think
mad
so,
respect.
dude.
Everybody, shout out to you for liking my what's it called? What's the show
Dude,
called?
huh?
The show that meme is from.
I don't know.
Oh, it's like pawn something. It's like a pawn shop thing. What's it called?
Yes,
Pawn
yes, you're
Stars?
right. Pawn Stars. I think it
Pawn
is Pawn
Stars,
Stars.
yeah.
Yeah,
Shout out to Pawn Stars for the fucking perfectly teed up meme
the
of
quality meme. Yeah,
quality
quality.
meme.
Yeah,
Was able to pump that out within a few seconds of that tweet. So yeah,
S
shout
tier
out to
meme.
you. But yeah, we had we had we had Netflix Geeked Week, I guess, and we learned about the Witcher Fest that's happening, and there's a bunch of other announcements. But we're gonna talk about gaming primarily. So let's jump into Saturday, where we saw the first showcase, which was Ubisoft Forward. So I'm gonna just kind of go through what some of the main announcements were of Ubi Forward, and then we'll talk about whatever stands out to us, and maybe some of the stuff that doesn't really resonate even a week later. So. Moving forward, started with the long-awaited new Rainbow Six game, which is called Rainbow Six Extraction, previously called Rainbow Six Quarantine, which was changed obviously because of what we're consistently, well, we're still going through, but many other parts of the world are now getting out of, but quarantine. So Rainbow Six Quarantine, we saw what that looks like. It's a sci-fi co-op, like I guess um shooter where you team up and you'll pick up stuff that kind of upgrades you on your run, either solo or with teammates, to free, I guess, other Rainbow Six people, universe people from this like sludge, venom looking sludge. So Rainbow Six Action was the first thing that we saw. This may not be in order of what we saw them in the conference, by the way, but I'm just gonna go through them. We also learned about um that's I'll leave that one for last because I know that we weren't thrilled about that one. But we saw Rocksmith Plus. Uh
Devin's
Rocksmith
favorite
Plus
game.
was
Yeah, I was so
announced.
excited for
Devin's
that. I
favorite
couldn't
game.
wait.
We saw Riders Republic, and we got a release date for Riders Republic for September 2nd. We got
Yeah.
Rainbow Six Siege getting crossplay and cross progression soon. Of course, we fucking saw Just Dance 2022. Release date confirmed. It is not coming to the Wii for the first time, so sorry, Wii owners.
What game is
Uh,
that? Sorry.
Just Dance 2022 is not coming to the Wii, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, they finally cut it off. That's right. I saw that. Yeah, yeah.
Time to move on, guys. Time to get to the Wii U. Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Siege of Paris DLC, Werewolf Within movie trailer and release date. We saw that. I believe that's a Netflix. I believe that's a Netflix movie, or it's going to be available on demand in some fashion. We saw the Far Cry 6 DLC, which included some past villains for previous games in the series. Mario Rabbids, which had been announced. We did that. I think
That
Nintendo
leaked the
leaked that.
morning.
Yeah.
Nintendo leaked it the
Yeah.
morning
Nintendo
before the
leaked it.
UV Forward. Yeah, that's
So
right.
Sparks of Hope, And then finally, we saw Massive's other game that they're working on, in addition to the Star Wars game, and in addition to the Division 2 DLC that we will see sometime later this year. They announced an Avatar game, Frontiers of Pandora, which I think we're all equally excited for.
So apparently, this game was announced 4 years ago.
Okay, that's nice. That's not really encouraging, but yeah, I guess that's nice. James
But
Cameron, what up?
like real quick before we dive into that, I guess the rest of the UB forward. I was reading an article that they were saying because of what Disney liked from what they saw Massive was doing with the Avatar game, birthed the Star Wars game. They said let's give them the reins to Star Wars as well. So I honestly have no like desire to play this Avatar game. I've never really cared about Avatar as a franchise. It's crazy to me that there are lots of people out there that actually care about Avatar, considering it's like one of the highest grossing movies of all time. I just don't know who any of those people are except for one person. I'm not gonna name their name.
Can you please say who it is?
It's Kyle. Kyle actually loves the movie Avatar. I just don't get it, dude. But anyway,
I don't know why I didn't guess that, but okay,
Well,
continue.
I did actually see that they
Anyways.
have four other Avatar movies planned. Like next year,
Yes.
there's one, and then like in the
Yes.
future. So maybe they're just trying to like have marketing buzz like in other areas of entertainment for Avatar. So maybe that's what they're going for.
I will be the first to say I could not give a fuck about this game. If they canceled this game tomorrow and were like, this was literally just to get the Star Wars license, I would be totally okay with that. So
Oh yeah, that'd be sick.
if it's good, like, I mean, here's the thing, like, all things considered, as much as like we just kind of, it's not a very memorable movie for me, but it was beautiful. Like, it was one of the first movies that really took advantage of 3D kind of to its full potential. And yeah, it's one of the highest grossing movies of all time. It's top two. I think it goes back and forth with Endgame at this point. But if it's a well-made game, like Massive has been making good games for a while now, I'll try it. Like, if it's something where people are
Massive is
saying
making
like,
the Avatar game.
yeah,
Massive is making it. Yeah.
Oh, so they're making that and the Star Wars game.
and Division and the extension of the Division 2.
What the hell? Okay, that's a lot.
It's a
of
lot,
games.
yeah. Yeah, and they're three big. I was gonna say three massive projects, but no pun. But three big projects. Like that's Division's great. We talk about it every podcast. Star Wars and then Avatar. So we'll see. But yeah, what else in here? I don't. I mean,
Honestly, I don't think we have to spend too much time on it. My biggest takeaways from the
From the
UB
Ubisoft,
forward were
Far Cry. The DLC for Far Cry was really cool.
the
Yeah.
DLC was Far Cry was cool, but for me, the thing that got me hyped the most was the Assassin's Creed DLC, and then Just Dance. Just joking. Riders Republic actually looked pretty cool, and I feel like it could have a lot of potential, especially with like the massive races. It gave me almost like Fall Guys vibes. I hope they like make it fun and like arcadey and that whole aspect of like a extreme sports game. So those were my two biggest ones. I honestly, Extraction didn't really do it for me. And what else? And
It was
like
kind of
I've
interesting
never
that it's using like siege operators, but other than that, the game was a little bit of a letdown from what I saw from it.
yeah, I don't know. It didn't look that great, in my opinion.
I mean, I'm curious about it just because I do really like um the Rainbow Six game. Sorry, I just got completely brain farted. Um, but yeah, it's I don't know. Like, to Gabby's point, like there's a lot of first person shooters that we saw at E3 this year, and like I don't know if Extraction is gonna like be in the upper echelon of those games, especially when it's coming out. It's out in the fall. Um, and like I mean, Back for Blood, Halo, um, Battlefield look fucking amazing. We'll talk about that later. So like,
Yeah.
there's a couple
Yeah.
games that I'm like, I don't know how this is gonna live in a climate of a lot of first person shooters.
I think they're trying to
but
go
I have-
after like the Returnal, like those roguelike first person, third person shooters. Like I think that's their take on one of those.
I don't know. It kind of reminded me more of like a Back for Blood type of game.
Same like a roguelike type shooter, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's
Get from point A to point B and survive.
It's not to say that it's not compelling, but I think for me, it really does live and die by whether I'm gonna have people to play it with. And right now, like I know that Gabby, you're kind of on the fence about it. If it reviews really well, I'm sure we'll kind of reevaluate in September. But there's so much happening in the fall, like it's gonna be tough to, unless some other FPS that we're excited for tanks. Like there's just gonna be a lot of attention and a lot of shooters that we're excited about. So we will see. I'm excited for it. I will be the first to say that I want to play another Rainbow Six game that's not
It convinced
Siege.
me to spend $70 or $80 on that game though. At
Yeah,
least it's like Siege.
I'm not paying full price for that
Siege was a
game.
$40 game too, so they might do it with Siege. And
Siege was a $40 game when it came out.
Yeah, it wasn't. It's not a full price game. It was a cheap game.
I don't know
When
if
they
I don't know if that was the case when it first came out.
At
Though
launch, I paid full price for that game.
I'm pretty sure I paid full price for that game as well, dude.
I gotta research to make sure I'm not lying, guys.
Lying son of a. I'm just joking.
Oh, we'll see because yeah, I mean it's still months away. I'm sure we'll get to see a little bit more. But Ubi forward. So we got Rainbow Six. Anything else that kind of stood out? This was kind of
Well, as a Mario and Switch fan, I'm not sure, Devin. Did you ever play the original Rabbids, Mario and Rabbids?
Yes. So
does the second one interest you at all?
Yeah, I have a kind of a little bit of a fun story about Rabbids, but I don't know. Am I allowed to talk about it? Actually, I don't think I can.
Why not?
I think because I had to do
Why?
an NDA. I had to sign an NDA before I did it.
For
I
the
can talk
second
about
one?
it. The game's out now. No, not the second one. But the first one was.
Oh,
the
yeah.
first one was great. I got to go to that Ubisoft Toronto that Ortega was talking about earlier. But yeah, I got to play that game before it was announced, and like, it threw me for a loop when I went in there, and it was like, the fuck is this? But it was cool. Yeah, I liked it when I got to test it, and then when it came out, I bought it, and yeah, the game's super solid. It's very like XCOM tactics based, but it's got that like Mario, what do you call it? It's got that Mario charm to it. But it's also like got some unique stuff. Like I think Nintendo has some rules when they like let people use Mario, and like one of them is to not use like Mario conventions. So the bad guy is like never Bowser; it's always other people. But yeah, those games are super sick. They also have co-op modes too. So I think versus and co-op. So lots of other modes aside from just the story mode, and very funny. The Rabbids and Mario they mesh well. The universes work well together. So I'm excited.
Chemistry, eh?
Yeah, I feel like this is just going to be like a bigger, better version of that game. So I'm stoked for it.
Yeah, I've never. Did you play the original, Ortega? Did you buy it?
No, I haven't even bought it. No, it's one of those few games I've been interested in. I just didn't buy it, so it's not even a part of my backlog right now. But it is on sale on the eShop. I
I was
think
going
for
to say
like
it
10
does go
bucks
on
right
sale
now.
relatively frequently, so you might be able to pick it
The
up
nice-
at some point.
The nice thing about Ubisoft publishing it is that it's not Nintendo published; it's Ubisoft
Oh, it'll
published,
go
meaning
on
that
sale.
it goes on sale. Yeah, 3D All Stars not gonna buy it, bought it anyways. Fuck you, Gabby. But yeah, it's
Yo, someone at work I work with bought it at Walmart recently because they still have copies of it, eh? We should find those copies and buy them. I'm like
the guy
half
said, "I will
serious.
not buy this fucking game." I know why you want to buy them.
So we can resell them in like
Yeah, dude,
5 years.
100%, yeah.
I just love the intensity. Like we should find those copies and buy them.
Yo, you should clip that part, eh?
Make
Put
it a
that on
soundboard.
our Instagram. That would be funny, a little content.
Every time we talk about a rare game, we're just gonna clip Gabby. We should find those
Find
copies and
them.
buy them.
Them.
Fuck yeah.
You can find some shit at Walmart that like has no. I think I found the Halo 3 Collector's Edition like years ago.
Yo, I need to turn my video off for a second. You guys keep talking, man. My wife is no fucking worse. Do your thing. Come on, man.
You just see him motioning off to the side, like, what do you want?
Can you just stay there?
Gabby,
Alright,
mute
so-
your mic. You might want to mute your mic, buddy.
That was Ubisoft,
I'm
right?
coming back now. Yeah, that was Ubisoft. What was next? What was
was-
next? I apologize for the little bit of a technical
fine, man.
difficulties on my end. Fuck.
Ubisoft, what else? Riders Republic, yeah, we talked about that. That's out on September 2nd. The Assassin's Creed, content. I think that looked really good. They announced that they're going to be supporting it through year 2, so that I think means that we're not going to see another Assassin's Creed probably for another
Yeah, and they
year.
also mentioned some of the
Plus,
DLC is going to be free too, which is dope.
yeah,
Yeah.
that
you
game
guys
is
Beyond Evil
that
is
game
gonna
is
be there.
fucking huge.
Yeah, it is. I put like 40, 50 hours into that game, and I don't even think I'm halfway through it. Yeah, that's wild.
Crazy. That's probably how much time they put into developing Beyond Good and Evil 2, honestly. So you're on par. Yeah, I mean, all right. So Ubisoft, we covered all the major announcements. We got Rocksmith. I almost said Cocksmith. We got Rocksmith. We got
yeah, I can go into that really quick actually if you want to know about Rocksmith.
Yeah, dude, totally. Fucking
So-
convince me to buy it.
Well, actually, you might. So there's two Rocksmith, like actual two Rocksmith games, and one of them got remastered. So there's just Rocksmith and then Rocksmith 2014, and the 2014 one got remastered. They're a kind of like a Rock Band where they had like preset song lists, and then they had DLC you could get for it. The later version got like modified, like you could add your own custom songs and stuff to it, which is where I think they got the idea kind of for the newer one is like you can only release the game so many times and just like add new songs, and like it's not really going to sell that much. So it looks like now they're giving you a lot more control to like they said. So I guess we'll have to get more detail, but one of the details they said is you could make your own song charts for songs that they have the license to. So I'm assuming if you want to like have like alternate fingerings or picking for songs, if you find it easier or like different like I don't know if it's more efficient for you, then you can like make your own charts. But it seems like they're kind of integrating like a big social network aspect to it. It even looked like they had lessons, like video lessons, like but they have a lot of different like genres of music, which is cool, and you have to use like a real guitar, which is awesome. So if you're looking to learn guitar, it's really cool to kind of get started and get into it, because there's things other than just like music, like learning the songs. There's like games and like I said, video lessons. There's a whole bunch of shit in there, but it looks like they're just cranking it up to 11. So it's like it's interesting. It's not Mega Man X9, no fucking guy. This guy texted me and he was like, "Yo, I heard a rumor you're gonna be super excited about it." And I was like, "Oh shit, okay, sick." And I was like so pumped, and he didn't give me any more context. And then like they announced Rocksmith Plus, and he's like, "There you go, dude." And I was like, "What?"
Dude, like one of my few memories of being in like the same house as you was like I think it was like a New Year's party from like probably 6 or 7 years ago, and you were just fucking playing Rocksmith, dude. You were just the whole living room was your fucking Rocksmith like element.
Yeah,
dude. I feel like I was. This is what I imagine people felt like when they flew to Hawaii with Kanye West and we were recording Dark Twisted Fantasy, except it was one night and it was New Year's.
That was like for
That's
2
funny.
years. Our parties were just we would just play guitar and on Rocksmith. We would be the soundtrack.
Fucking high as fuck.
Drinking beers, smoking weed.
And then I heard people banging upstairs at Devon's, but that's
What?
another story for another time. Anyways, so yeah, Ubisoft is
Gabby's so
forward.
confused. I'll tell you off stream, Gabby. It's a private.
Yeah,
It's
dude,
all
that's-
good. dog.
You need to subscribe to
It's
us
all
on
good.
Apple Podcast subscriptions to hear the story of
Yeah,
banging at
subscribe to our
Devon's on
OnlyFans if you want the R-rated
Patreon.
details.
Our Patreon details, please.
That's funny. Look at that production right there, yo. Come on. Let's go.
Oh my gosh.
That was so good.
All right. Well, Ortega, what was the next
Oh
show
fuck
that
yeah,
we got?
Drillbit Party at Doc's
Oh
place?
fuck, that was so
Dude,
funny.
soon roll out. We almost got double dosed.
Oh Jesus. Okay, so Ubi Forward. Before we move on from Ubi Forward, what are we grading Ubi Forward?
Oh man, I don't know. I'd probably give it a C.
Yeah, I was thinking C as well, dude. I'm right there with you.
Let's see as well.
Yeah,
Disappointing.
it was pretty boring. I'm not gonna lie. I remember texting you guys. I'm like, "What the fuck are we watching right now?" Like, it was just like, "What?"
They need to bring Aisha Tyler back.
No, definitely not. I'd rather people do
No.
it the way they did. I'd rather them do it the way they've been doing it now. I just feel like Ubisoft doesn't care, dude. Like, I don't know. They just don't. They don't. They never like. When was the last? Like, I guess Beyond Good and Evil was the last time they had that huge like moment, like that get hype moment, and we really haven't had it since.
Yeah, you know what it
Usually
is,
things
like,
get leaked or it's just like overly underwhelming.
I think they're trying to like temper expectations because they had that like like they had that thing for a while where they were known for like their trailers looked way better than their games did, and then they like
Watch
announced,
Yeah,
Dogs.
but like that's a narrative that they can easily get rid of though. Like I
which I
don't
think
know.
they
They
are
just
like, and then they also announced games like Beyond Good and Evil that are like clearly not close to being ready, and I think this is like these
or
are
even
games that
coming
are,
out.
like, it's coming, dude. It'll be next year. I promise next year. But I think they're just trying to like be realistic about what's coming out in the near future to kind of like show people like you know they don't want people waiting too long for games that might not be happening for a few
Well,
years.
you have that you have okay. So we have Beyond Good and Evil. They announced what 4 years ago, and
Yeah,
like
I feel like yeah.
we haven't seen since. They announced
They had that like Space Monkey
what was that
program. What happened to
Pirates
that?
game, Skull and Bones,
Yeah.
like that got delayed indefinitely. We don't know when that game is ever coming out. Prince of Persia was supposed to come out earlier this year. That got delayed. We didn't even get to see that at E3. Like I really don't know. And then we get wind of them doing Star Wars. It would have been cool to see a small tease. Like I didn't really expect anything really, but like I don't know. The Avatar was that big moment. So maybe some people found it to
Mhm.
be like super hype, but it was really underwhelming
Yeah.
for
I
me as someone
think
that doesn't care about Avatar at all.
I think we have to preface, like, I don't think we have to do this, but I think like E3, when Ubisoft was showing off their biggest projects a few years ago, was a much more prestigious event. There's nothing stopping Ubisoft from holding another Ubi Forward in 2 months and showing us everything that we didn't see now. Even if it's not part of a bigger event, if it's later in Summer Game Fest. So I think the thing to consider now too is like they are going to temper expectations, but we tend to get news that would have made E3 in years past slowly throughout the year. So like imagine that massive announcement at E3 working on a Star Wars game. That would have been huge, but like just the announcement itself would have been fine. But now that information seems to kind of creep out throughout the year. So I don't think it was a to be fair, I don't think it was a good conference. And I think that, like selling Avatar is like this big project. I'm sure that there's people that are fucking stoked to see it, but like I think the three of us can agree that it's not a big reveal that we were like, oh my god. I was like, oh fuck, like this is really what we're ending the game, the conference on. But I think that the thing to keep in mind is just because we didn't see the things that we're most excited about for this does not mean that we won't see them in the near future. I think to Devin's point, it was very much a focus on like what are we going to see within the next few months. But I could very easily see something in late August or September, another Ubi Forward that says, hey, here's what's on the docket for early 2022. And
Yeah.
I think that's going to become a much more common practice with all publishers. I think the days of these big E3, like, holy shit, like this is what we've been working on since E3 of last year to like showcase this year. That's just not it's just not the reality of E3 anymore, and it hasn't been, and it's been kind of dwindling away over time. But like, I think this year was really a culmination of that because there was really no. We'll talk about why, but like, there's really no moment in this entire like week where I was like, "Holy fucking shit!" The closest thing I think might have been Metroid Dread, just because I didn't think that that was ever gonna happen. Like, it just seems like it was a fantasy. But everything is just kind of, I don't want to say predictable, but you feel like it's not everything that everybody's working on. It's just a piece that they chose to show at this specific
100%.
time, right?
Yeah,
So,
no, I get what you're saying as well. And like
yeah.
there's a lot of the games media right now are very well in tune with what's happening and like what is coming up and like again tempering expectations. Like you're probably going to see this and this. You're not going to see this and this and this. You saw a bunch of that leading up to E3, like specifically with like Microsoft and like other things like that. So I
Yeah.
get exactly what you're saying. But yeah,
It's
no, for
still
sure.
and it doesn't take away from the disappointment because I think, for us, like we all grew up with E3 being this huge thing where it's like, holy fuck, we're gonna get a week's worth of like some crazy shit. Like they're gonna announce some crazy stuff. And I think if you really think about the last half decade or so, there really hasn't been a show like that that's really like blown our socks off in quite some time. And I think that that's, a symptom of a couple of different things. One is, people are not participating in E3 in the past the way that they had. Like Sony's no
Mm.
longer there, and regardless of how you feel about them, like they're one of the big three. Like they a big portion of the success of E3 and the excitement of E3 gets built out from their presentations. But even like their past couple of participations in E3 were these kind of experimental interactive press conferences. Remember that year that they only showed 3 games off? It was like an hour
Oh
and a
yeah,
half,
that was
and all
last
they
year,
did
right?
was literally just bring people from one stage to another to show gameplay
It was
pieces.
just Last of
That's
Us,
it.
Tsushima, and one other
Dev, you're
game. Yeah.
muted.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just Last of Us, like Tsushima, and one other game they showed.
I think it might have been Spider-Man or something. Like it was super.
Hmm.
It was like almost like a presentation, but like the years of like the PlayStation 3 reveal were like, holy fuck, look at all this stuff that's coming to our console. Like that just hasn't happened. So we'll
That was
move
also
on.
back in the days of like the pre-rendered Killzone trailers and like those things.
Yeah,
Like
yeah. So I think it's just important as we go through the next couple of conferences. I was very much thinking about this all week, where I was like, man, like it sucks, but again, I think reality is that E3 is just a very different beast now.
uh,
Outside of even just COVID, like
I feel different. Like I feel like E3 in general was different, but like people will remember certain conferences. Like not all three companies have to hit it off, for it to be like a good E3. Like
yeah,
there's like the E3 we got like the Final Fantasy VII remake. Like that was a pretty crazy announcement. Like that was sort of recent. Nintendo's E3 this year, like which we'll get into. Like for some people, it's gonna be like a memorable one. Like they hit a lot of like pretty good beats through their presentation, but I think it's like you just remember flashes of like certain companies' presentations, and you think like, oh, that Holy 3 was awesome, but I think it's just like that little pocket. I think there's
Yeah.
been bits of brilliance. It's just
yeah. We
changing.
see it. We see. I mean, we see these things like almost. I mean, I don't know. It just feels more frequent now. Like I feel like there are those groundbreaking announcements, and they can happen at any given moment. Like I look at the massive Star Wars thing, and like that's probably one of my favorite announcements this year, or like one of the most excited. And that happened just casually in the middle of March. Like that could have easily been saved for an E3 event. But I think you're absolutely right, Devin. Like there are moments of previous E3s, like the God of War reveal is another one that really stands out to me, or like Spider-Man, like coming as a PlayStation exclusive by Insomniac. Like those are all big moments that happened within the last 5 years, but it feels like since those there really hasn't been something that big. I guess yeah, we'll talk about this year though, because there have been some good
Yeah,
conferences this year. So
and like it
moving
probably speaks to
forward,
our logos on our screen too. Because like the ones you called out is like those are all PlayStation exclusive. So for me, it's like I don't
yeah,
really remember those. So it's like each person is gonna feel different. Because this year for me, it's like I feel we'll get there. We'll get there.
yeah. So okay, so moving forward, that was kind of the first event, and then I'm gonna go through. We're gonna kind of glaze over some of the more minor ones because they're not very good. I don't know if you guys saw, but like everybody was ripping on the Koch Media one, so we're not gonna fucking talk about the Koch Entertainment one or
I didn't even
whatever that
watch
one
it.
was. But apparently it was a
Oh, it's
showcase
not
in what
cock
not to
media.
do. Koch,
Isn't it pronounced cock?
is it Koch?
I don't know.
Who cares?
It's very unfortunate if it's called Koch Media. Um, I believe the next one that we saw was Devolver Digital. So this is one where they showed off 6 games. I'll cover those 6 games really quickly. I quite enjoy Devolver Digital's conferences because they tend to have a little bit of production value. Last year they had like a whole little sub story of like quarantine, and like they really like brought like the idea that it was a pandemic into their showcase as part of Summer Game Fest. So I really enjoy Devolver Digital's as much as they're not like these huge presentations. They tend to be fun and like kind of just they
Yeah,
they
they've
point out the
they even called
ridiculousness
it
of the rest of
the
the industry.
because they were
HBO
after
Max, like whatever thing, yeah,
because Ubisoft went first and they were the Ubisoft Forward, and I think they called it the Devolver Forwarder, right?
something like that. It was
Did
like
they?
some ridiculous name. It was like
Yeah, it was
Max,
Devolver Forwarder. It was just like because it was Ubisoft Forward and then Devolver Forwarder. That was the thing right after. They were like joking about the Ubisoft one.
and then I think as part of the presentation they had like Devolver Digital Max Plus, uh, like something Pro Max Plus or something like that. Like that was the name that they kept advertising within the actual conference. So they like to poke fun at the rest of the industry and the rest of the entertainment and electronics industry. So it should be a lot of fun to kind of talk about them. But anyways, Devolver Digital. I'll name out the 6 games, and then if you have seen them, we'll talk about them. If not, then we will move on to the next one. But the 6 games were Trek to Yomi, which was the synopsis: a young swordsman has vowed to protect his town and those he loves against all to his late master. In a tragic tale of his bonds of duty, he must voyage. This game looked pretty cool. I would really encourage you to check it out if you haven't watched the trailer. Wizard with a Gun, which is a chaotic co-op survival game. That's what it was described as. This caught my attention, so we'll talk about that in a moment. Inscription is a card-playing horror game from the Pony Island creators. Devolver Tumble Time, which looked fucking ridiculous. Uh, it's a physics-based puzzle mobile game from the entire Devolver library, and it's a free-to-play game for mobile. Demon Throttle, which is a physical game exclusive. So that's a pretty big deal for those that still collect physical copies. And then we got the Death's Door release date, which will be out on July 20th, which I know a lot of people are excited for. And then I'll go through the last couple here that were lesser announcements of it. Phantom Abyss is coming to early access, which looked pretty cool. And then Shadow Warrior 3 was announced, which is an FPS series, which is like super gory, and that's coming out for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and PC. So, Devolver Digital thoughts. If you have seen these games, yeah, what do you guys think? I know Death's Door is probably the big one. Let's talk about that maybe first.
Yeah. You go. You go.
I was gonna say I actually didn't get to see Devolver's thing, so I don't really know much about any of those games you just named off, and I don't probably have much to say about this conference.
Okay.
There's a few of them that I skipped over because I didn't get a chance to because I was working.
Yeah, I watched pockets of this one because I was with the girls at the park. But Death's Door is a game that I've been super into since I saw it a few months back, and excited to play it. It looks phenomenal. The art style, the gameplay, the creature design, all of it. You essentially play as a crow. And I'm trying to remember the premise of the game. I think you're trying to bring people back from the living into the dead or something like that. Yeah, Death's Door looks really, really cool.
Oh yes, this game. Dark Souls with the crow.
Yeah.
Or it looks like Tunic a lot, actually.
Yeah, it kind of looks similar to Tunic. Yeah, July 20th, Xbox Series S, X1, and PC. So it will be available on Xbox platforms and PC first. So that's pretty exciting, and that's only about a month away. So
$23 dues too, pretty cheap.
Yeah.
Nice. Love those cheap games.
Or the monsters still look cool.
I would if you haven't, Devin, I think you might enjoy what Wizard with a Gun looks like. It kind of reminds me of Bastion, but it's got a co-op element to it. Yeah, Gabby, if you didn't watch it as well, like it did catch my eye, considering there wasn't really a lot in Devolver's conference. Wizard with a Gun.
Online cooperative sandbox survival.
Wizard with a Gun. Searching it up right now.
Like a fantasy western or something.
Yeah, it looks pretty ridiculous. Like it looks pretty out there. But I was really excited to see this.
Oh, the art style yeah. I remember seeing this.
It kind of reminds me of what's that game with the? It's like a survival game where you play as it's got like a Tim Burton kind of art style. There was one where you played solo, and then one called Something Together, and you played as two people. Oh man, well, if I remember it, I'll just interrupt one of you guys with it.
I feel like it's on the tip of my tongue, but like I don't quite remember exactly.
I think it just came out on Apple Arcade Plus too. Oh, what the hell is it called?
Really?
Don't Starve.
Yes, thank you. Don't Starve. That's the one.
Yeah.
It's got similar vibes to Don't Starve.
Yeah. So, anyways, check that out. That was kind of the game, other than Death's Door, that really caught my attention. I guess we can't really grade Devolver. I'll give it a B because I think it's a good it's a nice palate cleanser after the self-seriousness of like the Ubi conference for it to just kind of be a little bit ridiculous. And yeah, Death's Door looks great, and then Wizard with a Gun looks great. So I'll give it a B. I guess the rest of you guys are not either TBH or not applicable. So we'll leave it at that for Devolver Digital. You doing the Xbox sign there, Gabby?
I did an X for NA, you know, but it could be Xbox.
I said X-Pac, actually.
Oh, did you say? I said got two words for yes.
Yeah, which brings us to our next event, which is the WWE press conference. No, I'm kidding. So we'll tackle probably the one that is gonna take up the most time here, or at least a considerable amount of the time. The Xbox showcase. So to preface this, I think, this is probably the big one that everybody was kind of really looking forward to. Just some amazing moves over the past year for Game Pass, for Xbox Game Studios, obviously the Bethesda acquisition. So just a lot going into this, I think, that really contributed to this conference. And it was refreshing to see some folks that don't typically, it's usually Phil Spencer driven. And this year was not Phil Spencer driven, other than maybe for the last few minutes, or I guess the last 10 minutes. Yeah,
Yeah.
so very exciting. There was a leak. The Starfield trailer leaked earlier in the day. And this is actually an event that's been rumored for quite some time. I remember there was kind of that event that we saw, the Bethesda stuff back in March, I think it was, when they first announced the acquisition. But this was actually the first time that we've seen, the future of kind of what this partnership is going to look like. So I'm excited to talk about it. Gabby, I know that you're excited to talk about it. Devin, I'm sure you are very excited to talk about it as well. So Xbox E3 2021. I will kind of ring through the list and then we will reconvene and talk about all of these at the end. So I'm just going to ring these off really quickly, okay?
30 games. We got 30 games that day.
Actually, it's going to take me a second to pull up because I just realized I pulled up the extended showcase announcements. I got to pull up the
Well, that was
original one.
today. I wasn't able to catch that. I was at work.
I'll talk about that a little bit after because that actually factors into my to my kind of my score for this conference as well. So give me 1 second and I will find this in just a second. You son of a bitch. Where is all this stuff?
Pretty boy.
I'm sorry this is taking so long. I promise I'm looking.
I don't believe you. I think you're lying. I feel like you're looking up news articles on Yahoo.
I'm looking at Pern. Okay, let's
Pern!
go. Okay, so starts off with the leak trailer for Starfield. So the very first person that we saw was Todd Howard. Came out, talks a little bit about Starfield. This was obviously gonna appear in some capacity, just based off of the the poster that we got for the event or the promotional materials for the event. So we saw Starfield. The release date was announced. I told Gabby I misread this release date at first, and so it was kind of disappointing to actually see it after a little bit of time. But we'll talk about it in a few minutes. So Starfield, Halo Infinite got confirmed for holiday 2021, which we already knew. We saw our first multiplayer footage, and we will come back to talk about that. Forza Horizon was announced. It's in Mexico, not in Japan, as was rumored, and that will be coming out later this year as well to Game Pass. Diablo 2 Resurrected release date was announced. We also saw Stalker 2 release date was announced. We saw Back for Blood is going to be available Game Pass day one. Contraband was announced from the Just Cause developer Avalanche in partnership with Xbox Game Studios, if I'm not mistaken. Outer Worlds 2 was announced. Sea of Thieves announced a partnership with Pirates of the Caribbean. Yakuza Like a Dragon was available on Game Pass. That was a pretty big announcement. Battlefield 2042. Eiyuden Chronicle was delayed. And then there was a spinoff announced for that in 2023. 12 Minutes release date was announced. Psychonauts release date announced. Microsoft Flight Simulator announced. Age of Empires release date announced. Doom Eternal coming to Game Pass with the next gen upgrade. Elder Scrolls Console Edition will be available next week or enhanced, meaning that it's going to pick up some of the stuff that's been introduced in the PC version. Hades is arriving to Game Pass on August 13th. Party Animals is coming to it's a adorable competitive brawler as it's being described. Somerville was finally shown off from the
Field. Yeah.
Limbo
That was
and
a big
Inside
one.
Playdead peeps.
Play
Yep.
Dead, yeah.
Like their new X Playdead made a new studio.
Yeah.
Jump Ship. Yeah.
A Plague Tale Requiem was announced for 2022. Far Cry gameplay was showed off. Slime Rancher 2 was announced as an Xbox exclusive. A snowboarding game called Shredders was announced. Atomic Heart would be available on Game Pass day one. Replaced was announced, which is like a cyberpunk looking 2D, 2.5D art.
Looks sick.
And it's an
It
Xbox
looks sick.
exclusive. Yep. Grounded updates. Among Us is getting a 15-player lobby. The Ascent release date announced. That's everything. So going through this, it's actually pretty packed with some stuff. So let's
I think you
focus
missed
on,
the
I guess, the big
Avalanche
ones.
one as well, no?
No,
Oh,
I
you
said
got that one,
Contraband.
yeah. Yeah, Contraband.
Contraband, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, dudes. Let's talk.
Yeah.
Let's talk about
Take a
the
deep breath,
Xbox
Joe.
showcase.
I mean, there's a lot. I don't know what we want to talk about. There's a lot.
Gabby, you start us off. Game Pass, Gabby, you start us off, buddy.
Game Pass, Gabby.
Well, okay, so you touched upon it a little bit, but I thought it was really cool to see um Todd Howard start the show, and I thought that was like that was really really cool because like you said, traditionally you get Phil Spencer and you get like, you maybe you get the idea Xbox guy every now and usually that's it, or like some random dev or whatever. But starting off with Phil Spencer, sorry, Phil Spencer, with Todd Howard, with Starfield, you knew you weren't gonna get gameplay because it was rumored to come out late next year, but we got a sneak peek at in-game ish engine, and they're describing Starfield as like that NASA punk like kind of game. Um, they're saying it's Skyrim in space, 100 hours, and it's like a game that they've envisioned for the last 20 years, and it's their first new IP in that many years as well, 20-25 years, which is crazy to think that they haven't created a new IP in that long as a studio. So, what did you just say?
Oh, I found there's a
Oh,
bunch
for
of
after,
videos.
okay.
Yeah, a bunch of videos of Pokemon Unite.
So I'm excited to see more Starfield. I'm pumped up for that. And we finally got like there's no ambiguity, there's no like is it coming on any other consoles? It's clear, it's exclusive, it's coming out on Xbox and PC day one on Game Pass. Because I know leading up to that there was a lot of still like he kind of said this word, maybe it's still coming out on PlayStation and other like so that's not the case. Um so that was cool. I would say another highlight for me again was that Replaced was really sick. Hopefully that game comes out. I know we've been waiting for what's that game again, Ortega? The one indie like
The Last
cyberpunk
Night.
game that never the last night. So maybe it'll replace the whole that we've had for the last night because I remember we were all hyped when we saw that trailer.
Did you just say
on the-
replaced? Game Pass.
Game Pass.
Game Pass. Wait, it must be
Yeah.
kind of last night.
What was that?
Yeah, I searched up the
The
last,
last
night.
night.
Brought up a Transformer movie.
Yeah.
Of it.
Because we saw that at Devin's house. I remember we were all sitting on his couch. I was probably shirtless, and we watched that trailer, and we're like, "Damn, that looks really cool."
Oh yeah, I
So-
remember this like Pixel Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
We were all
That
we were all
game
really
never-
excited about it.
That game never came out. I'm super pumped about 12 minutes. I'm cool. I'm excited it finally got a release date. I'm really excited to try that out. As well as again, how you meant like I know you mentioned all of them, but Somerville is a game that I've been looking forward to for a while. I'm super happy that we finally got to see it
Oh, shit.
in action because as soon as I win that they started that one of the X-Play Dead co-founders started a new studio, I was like, okay. And then I was pumped up for that ever since. And again, I think it was really cool seeing a partnership. So they actually just started. Oh shit, my bad, my lighting.
I forgot about this 12 minutes game with James McAvoy and Daisy Ridley. and
Yeah.
William Dafoe. That's cool.
What was I gonna say? Shit. Oh, I think they just started a new Twitter account. Xbox Xbox Studios Publishing. So all the studios that they are gonna partner with, like the Avalanches and other studios. So that's kind of cool to see that they're doing that as well. I know Sony's been doing that as well with other publishers, where it's going to be under the Sony Studios umbrella, but partnered with certain developers. So that's cool to see that. I thought Psychonauts 2 looked pretty dope. I'm excited to play
Yeah.
that. I didn't play the first one. I'm probably going to go back and play that at some point. I just think what's his name? What's the lead guy, the guy's name again?
Tim Schafer?
And yeah, he seems like such a cool dude, man.
Yeah.
Like he just
The
seems like
Jack
he's a
Black
really
of
cool
video
guy.
games.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the Jack Black of video games. That's exactly it. And then again, like I was super pumped up, man, when that Halo multiplayer beta, like Halo multiplayer trailer dropped. I was at work, and I was trying to look like I was working. Don't tell this to anybody. And like, man, oh man, I got so hyped for that trailer. I was literally like, I started crying, man. I was just like so emotional, and I don't know what else to say, man. It's weird that we didn't get a release date yet, and they just said holiday, and we got a release date for Starfield that's coming out next
Yeah.
year. So I found that really interesting. I know they're just probably just trying to make sure that they hit that release date and not like overpromise. So as soon as they figure out what date it's gonna come out, they'll announce it. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm missing so many different things. Battlefield looks super sick. I'm probably not gonna buy it. I was hoping it was gonna be on Game Pass. It was one of the three
Oh,
games that weren't a part of the Game Pass library day one, where all the other games that they showed on that conference were.
I didn't know that.
Battlefield looks really, 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 really cool, and I
Hmm.
haven't really been excited for a Battlefield game since like 1949 or Bad Company 2. So yeah, the whole pacing of the show was dope. It was literally just like what trailer after trailer after trailer, a small speech here, trailer, small speech, trailer. It felt kind of long, but it was still good. Where they got a lot across. And the last game they showed was it
Redfall. Redfall.
Redfall.
Yeah.
Yeah, Redfall. It was a CG trailer, but I'm excited to see more of it. I know a lot of people were first anticipating it more to be like a Left 4 Dead type of game, Back 4 Blood type of game, but they're describing it as an open world game. So I'm interested to see what that game will actually look like. Out of Arcane Austin, I believe are the guys making it. So overall, I thought the conference was really cool. The pacing was really good. There was a lot of cool games that they showed across a variety of different. I didn't even talk about Forza, man. Forza looked fucking
Yeah.
sick. Like that game looked insanely good. I'm out of breath. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah. I think to like piggyback off the Halo thing, like I'm not nearly as big of a Halo fan as you, but like that trailer had me pumped, dude. It was like I don't know, it's just so many good memories. Like everything looks like old but shiny and new. Like it plus like all the
It
cool
reminded
shit, like,
me, yeah, literally reminded me a lot of Halo 3, just because like I don't know, it just that the whole tone of it, like it looked like they were playing on Valhalla. On Valhalla was the Halo 3 map, and I don't know, it just looked with the equipment and all that crap. It just looked so good.
yeah. And it was cool that you got like that trailer and like a 15-minute kind of like deep dive into it where you really got to
The
like
following day,
yeah,
yeah.
you kind of got to jump in. It wasn't just like a small tease. And it was like so much better received than that first trailer they showed. Like everybody was like, "It's kind of ugly" the first time, but like, I didn't hear any of that this time. Yeah,
Yeah. It's crazy.
and I think every trailer must have had like on Game Pass or like Game Pass Day One or like Xbox exclusive. Like there was some kind of tagline in front of every single trailer they showed.
Yeah, well, I think they said they showed 30 games, and out of the 30 games, 27 of those games were going to be on Game Pass.
That's
And
crazy.
I think
Yeah.
they did. I think they did a really good job on showing what was coming out this year, and like I guess um the following year as well as teasing a little bit more. Like they showed out like a good roadmap of what's to come. And again, they didn't even talk about. They talked about it at the end where Phil Spencer gave a speech, but they didn't show Fable. They didn't show Perfect Dark. They didn't show what NXIle's making. They didn't show Hellblade. They didn't show a bunch of games. So they didn't show like Cyclone. What's their names? Fucking. They didn't show Compulsion Games. Whatever they're working on. They didn't show. What's his? Fuck. The Psychonaut Studio, Double Fine. They didn't even show what Double Fine's working on next. You know what I mean? So there's still a lot of question marks of what's to come, and I think they did a really good job of showing, like, the doors are slowly opening on all these games that are going to be coming out. And I know they're trying
Yes.
to promise every quarter they're going to have one first party game available on Game Pass, which is crazy to think that they're actually going to try and pull that off.
Any thoughts, Dev? Or are you pretty much wrapped up on what you thought?
Hmm. I thought they did a pretty good job, and yeah, I think yeah, I think you kind of got the nail on the head at the end, Gabs. Like I think they're trying to show off what's coming, but not trying to like do the same thing as the other like as Ubisoft. Like they don't want to like promise a bunch and then you're like, where are all these games that we saw like 4 years ago? So it's cool that we're starting to see the fruits of those acquisitions. We still gotta wait a few more years though before we actually get to play some of them though. And then their first party studios, yeah, Forza looks better than ever. Halo looks better than ever. Like both of those, super stoked for. Oh, I actually saw for the first time PC Game Pass got games that Xbox Game Pass didn't get.
Yeah,
Fallout 1 and 2 I got on Game Pass. I was
yeah,
like, oh, I've never played
yeah.
those before. That's really
Well,
cool.
those are PC games.
I honestly like I didn't think about it because Chewy loves our friend from work. Chewy, he loves Fallout, so I messaged him. I was like, dude, the original Fallout's are on Game Pass. And he's like, yo, really? I don't see him, dude. And I was like, whoa, like that's never happened before. I just didn't even think
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
like I never considered it. But yeah, that's all I got on Xbox. It was pretty good.
Um, it was definitely the best that they've shown in recent memory. It's the best conference that Xbox has put together, and it was really I agree with Gabby. I think it was really well paced. I think the things that they've learned from their numbers heavy slash like just a lot of talking but not actually showing off games. This really addressed that, so it was really that pace of like trailer, just like keep going, which is exactly what I want to see from all of the big three. Is just fucking show me games, man. I don't need to know how many consoles are out in the wild. Just show me some goddamn games, and that's what this was. It was a huge showcase. Even going through this list, like as we were reading it, I was like, man, that's fucking. This is a lot heavier than even I thought. So, um, yeah, I think the standouts for me, Forza is definitely like that's probably game of show for me, to be quite honest. It looked so fucking good. I loved Forza, all of them. All the Horizon games have been great, but I think the fact that this one has a single player campaign and that it has to do with like
Yeah.
expeditions into like Mayan ruins and shit like that, like
Yeah, it
it's
looks like
just
they're
super
dropping a
compelling.
music festival thing.
Yeah, so like I can't wait to get my hands on this game. I loved the last one, but this seems like it's just gonna bring more of what I love about games in general to a franchise that I really love. So I'm super excited to play that November 9th. Halo multiplayer looked great. Disappointed a little bit, and I shared this with Gabby in the week, but just disappointed that we saw campaign tidbits, but didn't necessarily see any updated gameplay from the
Wow,
campaign.
he thinks Halo sucks. I'm just
I
kidding.
do. I do think that. Um, but I mean, if I think about the newest trilogy, so I think about 4 or 5, the campaigns haven't been the strongest. Five's campaign probably being the worst by far out of all 5 games. And so I'm really excited. Gabby, you talked about how Halo Combat Evolved earlier. Like it's one of the best FPS campaigns of all time. Like that's where this game started. So as much as the multiplayer is where it's evolved and where it's I think a lot of Halo players get excited these days, for me it's about the Chief and Cortana and seeing the end of that story, especially after not seeing much of them in Halo 5. So I just it's a personal thing. I would have liked to have seen just some gameplay from the campaign, building on what we saw last year that was relatively unremarkable. And it would have been nice to have addressed that. But at the end of the day, like the multiplayer component looked great. Just really hoping that the story is compelling for Halo Infinite. So we will see. Luckily, we don't have to wait that long because it will be out hopefully later this year. They committed to it, so hopefully no more pushbacks on this game. Um,
I have a question for Gabby.
What's
They
your
didn't.
question? Should I
They
kill
didn't.
Ortega? No, I'm just joking.
They didn't show it. They didn't say they would have it. But are they gonna have a battle royale mode? Are they gonna have a
I don't
Warzone,
know,
some kind of
man.
competitor?
I don't know, man.
Think
I
just straight
think
multiplayer?
I, I think if it was gonna be day one, I feel like they would have announced it. I feel like that's a pretty big deal. Like I feel like that would have been a huge get hype moment for probably a lot of people, especially maybe a lot of people that are new to Halo and want to try out Halo. But I feel like they're really banking on it being free to play, which
Yeah,
is
that was
gonna
big. That's huge.
hopefully get a lot of people into it that maybe don't want to try it because like you don't even need Game Pass. It's free. It's like it'll
Yeah.
just be on the Xbox store. If you have an Xbox or a PC, you can just download it for free,
It should just come
which is
preloaded with
which
PCs
is
now.
exactly. So I, do I want a battle royale out of Halo? Like I'm not fully in love with battle royale. I think a battle royale would do good for a franchise like Halo just because it's really has taken over the first person genre, obviously specifically for multiplayer, and you see how it's done wonders for Call of Duty the second time around, not necessarily the first time they had because they
Yeah,
first
Blackout was
had
garbage.
Blackout, which was okay, but it didn't peak the way Warzone peaked
Yeah,
at all,
not even
right? Not
close. Yeah.
even not even in the same conversation. Um, I feel like they'll probably eventually do it. I honestly feel like if it was day one, they would have already announced it. I don't know. There's still time. Maybe they'll pull out a surprise out of their ass and still surprise people. But I feel like announcing it at E3 would have been a pretty big deal. So I don't know. I'm indifferent. I'm really indifferent to it because I'm not playing Warzone. I don't play Fortnite. I don't have like an allegiance or a desire to play battle royales like a lot of people do. So I'm more so arena big team battle. I just want to have fun with my friends. You know what I mean? So good question though.
It's the in thing,
Yeah, I mean it really is.
I've said this earlier, but I said my observation for E3 this year is the in thing is extreme weather effects. There's like 3 games this year
Yeah,
coming out that all have it, like Forza,
yeah.
Battlefield. And there's one other one I think that had it too, and then Just Cause 4 before that. But yeah, Menard brought up a good point, saying that it's because of like ray tracing. It's like storms look really cool with like the lighting effects and stuff going through them. So that's probably why you'll see it more, because they can make it look better than they have.
Mm.
But anyways, who's next? Who's after Xbox?
Well,
Oh, I have more thoughts on it.
Oh no, we don't care about yours. You're the PlayStation guy.
Okay, cool. We also didn't give it a rating.
Oh yeah, good call. Well, sorry, your thoughts, and then we'll rate them. We'll rate it.
So Battlefield, I think out of the 3 of them, Battlefield, Forza, the Ascent, I'm really excited about, and then replaced were probably the big 4 that came out of this. I thought Stalker looked really cool. I think the environment in that
soccer
game was
did
awesome.
soccer showed really well. Yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah.
I mean, overall, like there was a ton of games in the conference. I'm glad a lot of them are coming out this year. Psychonauts, another one that I'm really excited to play. So I'm excited that the next couple of months there's going to be something on Game Pass pretty much every month. That's either a first party studio or something that was developed or in
We
development
didn't even
that's
have a
coming to
Back for
Game Pass.
Blood. Yeah, Back for Blood was on the show as well.
Yeah, so I mean, for me, I'm excited to finally just get kind of some use out of my Series X with some new games rather than maybe playing some of my back catalog of games. But yeah, I'm stoked, man. Like Ascent is coming out next month, and then we talked about Death's Door. Like July is really going to be where it kind of kicks off. So I'm super stoked to do that. My only knock on it was we're going into the holiday season, so we're seeing games every month up until the holiday season. But it sucks. It doesn't. I know it's going to change, but it sucks that we're going into another fall season where Halo and Forza are going to be at the forefront. I'm not taking away from how good those games look, Gabby, by any stretch of the imagination. Both look fantastic. But with all the studio acquisition, I was hoping to start to see some of the new IP coming to fruition sooner. We've been waiting 5 or 6 years now for some of this stuff to happen, and it's still not happening. Not to say it's not happening in other months or in smaller capacities with games like The Ascent. But I know the small part of me was disappointed that like things like Avowed, Starfield, like there's still another 18 months to go to see some of those games. Like I just want to see the fruits of the labor of these games. I really want to see the first party studios from Xbox just produce some fucking fantastic games sooner rather than later. So it's not a knock on them for not having those games. It's just the fact that it's taken so long to acquire these studios, have a game in development, and it's going to be a little bit longer for us to actually see them. But I think this year, to your point, was like a great way for them to open the doors and start to set out this roadmap on what to expect from Xbox Game Studios. But still hasn't been there hasn't been a new IP that's wowed me. That's come from like an internal, not Bethesda. Because I think Starfield looks fantastic from what we know of it, but none of the Xbox game studios have announced anything that's a new IP. Like even Fable, Perfect Dark, like Avowed, I guess is the closest thing by Obsidian, but there still hasn't been a new IP that's come from
So that
a game
Redfall one, right?
studios.
That's gonna be
Doesn't
one, right?
Redfall. Yeah.
didn't do it for me. Like it's a new Arcane studio,
It's
but even that
didn't
came
do it
as
for me
part of
as
the.
well. Like it's not my aesthetic, but it's still like it's a new IP for them.
It's new, yeah, and it's something
Contraband
like
as well. We got Contraband. We don't really know what that is, but that's a new IP
that's a new IP from Avalanche, right? But
published
it's
by
not
Microsoft Studios.
published by Microsoft Studios, but it's not a first party studio game, as
Hmm.
far as I know.
Right, but it's the same thing as like PlayStation doing that those multiplayer games, and it's still under the PlayStation Studios umbrella, right?
Yeah, and I'm not detracting from the fact that it's going to be a new IP. I'm saying the internal studios that they've been investing in, like we have yet to see. I can't name a single game that's come out that's a AAA like first party new IP that's come out from one of those studios. I don't know of one like Perfect Dark again is building on an older one. Fable's a reboot. Forza, Halo, Gears. Like I don't. Avowed was from a studio acquisition, but none of the actual like first party studios that they built internally have announced one of those new games. Not to say that they're not working on it, but again, it's just disappointing to see that we're not starting to see some of that stuff come out faster. So that's it. Like it's not again, Game Pass is doing great things. There's two amazing looking games coming out this year that are at the forefront of the Xbox lineup. But like, I just wish the ball was rolling sooner. If they had done the work that they were doing in 2015, back in 2014, we'd be a year closer to seeing some of those games, and we're still multiple years away from even seeing like Fable and some of the other games that are being worked on. But overall, I give it a B plus. I think it was a great conference. It's the best Xbox conference I've seen in fuck man 8 years now. Like it finally happened where we came into one and it was just games after games after games. It feels like that hasn't happened. And I'm genuinely excited. Like starting basically next month, we're gonna start to see Xbox exclusives every month on the platform, and it's about fucking time, man. I'm so pumped. What grades what grades do you guys give it?
B. That's not a B. I give it a B.
Okay. B and
I give it
Gabby.
an A. That's an A. For me, it's an A.
So fucking surprising, dude. So surprised you gave it an A.
I
But
get a
yeah,
lower
no,
score than you did. That's crazy. I thought they did really well. There's a lot of announcements not for me. I think that's all. Halo was just
yeah,
like the big thing for me.
I think like going back to it again, like it's not. I mean, they had announced that they had picked up Bethesda at this thing, then it bumps it right up to an A for me. It's just that we get news from these guys like often, and Xbox was kind of what the first one that started that stream with the Series X announcement, where they announced stuff every few months rather than having like this big media press run. So this was great, like a lot of the Game Pass stuff and hearing a lot of release dates, but I think that there's more in the future. So I'll hold off on giving it an A because it's just, it's a lot of stuff that I think we were expecting and stuff that we knew was kind of on the way. It's when we get the unexpected stuff that I'll start to be wowed a little bit more.
Yeah,
Hopefully soon.
I know for me personally, I'm not huge on a lot of Bethesda games. Like I've played them and like they're okay. Like I just don't like love them. So like the idea of like them making announcements is not super exciting for me. I'm excited for Starfield because I'm definitely more into sci-fi than what they normally do. But like,
Yeah.
I don't know the
We didn't even bring up the Outer Worlds
post-apocalyptic
2 confirmation.
yeah,
Outer Worlds 2 got a confirmation
but it's
from Obsidian.
it would be cool to see some more unique games from those other studios.
We saw a lot of I know it's their bread and butter, but we saw a lot of FPSs. That's the one thing too. There's a lot of shooters that were kind of in the conference, and as good as like Stalker and all of these FPSs looked, I my loving of platformers and stuff like that. I want to see just more games of different varieties. I think the idea of Everwild being this like combatless like fantasy game, like I was really intrigued by that, and it's unfortunate that we're not probably going to see it for another year or two. But those are the kind of games that I think that I'm looking for from these internal studios that are just like, hey, it's
And they're
not a
saying
game.
2024 now for that game,
Yeah,
man.
so we might not see it for like years, but when I give an example of a game, like that's one where I'm like, fuck, I was so excited for Everwild. We're 3 years out now. Like we're probably not going to see it for a considerable amount of time.
Speaking of Wild
Yeah.
and Game Pass, Outer
Uh,
Worlds.
Outer Wilds is
Outer
leaving.
Wilds, yeah, the
Yeah,
good one. Well, they're both good, but the cool story one is leaving soon, so play it soon.
yeah, I will. Yeah. Um.
Yeah,
Okay,
before
so
Ortega complains. I didn't know it was leaving. Just joking. This guy messaged me the other day. He's like, yo, Below and what was the other game? Are not on Game
Action,
Pass anymore. And I'm
Action.
like, yo, they left Game Pass like over a year ago, dude. Like,
Yeah, and I wasn't saying anything. I was just like, man, it sucks. Like those are games that like I really
of
wanted to
course
go
it
back and play
sucks.
below.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's kind of the thing with like we were talking about, just with Game Pass. Like Ashen is a $70 game. Like it's great that it was there. The first party studio stuff is going to be amazing because that's never going to leave. But it does suck. Like Below is a game that I love, and I just wanted to play it. And I was like, motherfucker, like this game's not on here anymore. I have to go out and buy it for $25, and Ashen's $61. Like there's $100 right there, and that was on Game Pass. So I think it just speaks to the value of it when it is there.
Yeah.
It's kind of missed when it's gone. It just sucks to know that you have to buy it once it's gone, right? So.
Is it
Um,
Nintendo
yeah.
next?
Sorry?
Nintendo next?
Square Enix, man.
Oh fuck them! Nobody cares about them.
Well,
Thought
it
this
should.
one was
We can
yeah.
go through. We can go through it really quickly because it was bad.
Yeah, we should
It
zoom
wasn't
through
that
it.
good.
Just around an hour and a
It was
half.
it was super weird where it could have been really good.
I'll go through it quickly. Guardians of the Galaxy announced coming from Eidos Montreal.
That
Project
weird
Athea is named Forspoken.
budget.
Uh, MCU budget.
Yeah, like
Guardians.
that. It looks like exactly like that Square Avengers game. It's just like rip-off versions of the Marvel MCU.
Yeah, I really. I mean,
But
we'll talk about it
but
in a second.
that's the impact the MCU has, right? So that we're so ingrained with the image of what these characters look like that when you get a realistic looking Avengers or Guardians and it's not Chris Pratt or Chris Evans, you're like, who the fuck are these guys? You know what I mean?
That's a good point because I guess the movie ones were based off of comics to begin with, but yeah, these ones have kind of like superseded the comics now.
Yeah,
I just do.
they really have.
It's worth talking about because it's my one complaint about this game is that I mean I'll bring it up in a minute, but Black Panther arrives in Marvel's Avengers later this year. Life is Strange True Colors was announced. Remastered Life is Strange arriving in fall. Marvel's Avengers gave a roadmap. Outriders gets a new gameplay trailer and a 6-minute deep dive. Okay. Tomb Raider Definitive Survivor Trilogy was announced. Just Cause Mobile, Project Hitman Sniper Assassins, AR Space Invaders mobile game, Balan Wonderland. Oh my god, who the fuck cares about that game? And that was pretty much everything. So the big one, obviously, half of this thing was fucking spent on Guardians of the Galaxy. And I agree. So here's my one gripe. I'm excited for this game. I liked what I saw. The gripe that I have is exactly what you said, Devin. Like, either go far left and like make something that does not look similar in tone or visually to the movies, which is tough because the movies are based off of comics. So to stay true, you kind of have to borrow some. But it does feel like it's a halfway. Like it feels like it's halfway between the comics and Chris Pratt. It's like pick one. Like either put it in your own original designs for these guys, or just go full on MCU. Like don't live in that middle because then you're alienating both sides. People that want original stuff don't see it. People that want MCU stuff don't see it, and so that you end up
Just
in
looks
this kind
like
of like middling place.
they missed. It looks like they were aiming for MCU and just like missed, and like it's just not quite there. Yeah.
Well, and I will say, like Eidos, like I said this about the Avengers game, the campaign was good. So like I'm hopeful for this game because the campaign I enjoyed quite a bit. The thing that bothered me was just all of the microtransactions and the game economy and the end game and the idea of adding gear and all that kind of stuff like that.
The
It just
lack of
doesn't.
roadmap.
Yeah, and the lack of road, it just didn't fit that game. So Guardians of the Galaxy is a single player focused like narrative experience. Like if it can even match the campaign of Marvel's Avengers, I'm happy with that. And if it does nothing else than just tell a good story, I'm good with that. Doesn't need to be the best game, but if it's just a Marvel game that succeeds in some platform as a narrative, I'm all in on that. So we'll wait to see. I will definitely be picking it up regardless of what it reviews like because I love the Guardians of the Galaxy. But I can kind of give my thoughts when it comes out, and it's coming out this year, so that was pretty exciting to know that it's coming out later this fall. I missed one big announcement too. I'm so sorry. The Square Enix Final Fantasy stuff. So a bunch of mobile announcements were brought out, and then we saw that Final Fantasy Origins game that was
Souls-like game.
Did you guys try that demo yet too?
I heard it was super corrupt.
Really?
it's not good. It needs work.
Okay.
It's disappointing that that's a demo. I would not be I would
No,
not be happy about that game. No, I played a little bit of it and I was just like, man, like this game needs a significant amount of work for me to be like excited for it. The concept of it's great, but like it just doesn't. It feels like a PS3 game. Like I think I read somewhere that somebody was like, this is basically an up-res PS3 game. That is precisely what it feels like. So
Dang.
I hope it comes a long way until it comes out.
Oh man, they have the talent to do it. I wouldn't be surprised if it did, but that sucks that it's that bad.
Yeah, so my Square Enix, this is exactly, it's not Koch Entertainment, but it was a C minus for me. It was a pretty bad show. It was paced horribly. They spent 20 minutes on Guardians of the Galaxy, like just fast fired a whole bunch of mobile Final Fantasy news, and then just like shoehorn in a couple of things that I was pretty disinterested in. So this was probably the worst one. Like Ubisoft was pretty bad, but at least Ubisoft I didn't really have expectations. Square Enix, I was pretty excited.
Yeah.
Like just the pacing fucking blew it for me. As much as I'm excited for Guardians, like I just was like, man, why is this taking 20 minutes to get through this? This does not need to be this long.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm right there with you. It was a little underwhelming. The Guardians game does look pretty cool. I probably wouldn't play it, but I'm excited for you to play it because I know how much you love Guardians of the Galaxy, like as you mentioned. Um, but yeah, I think I'd rank it a C. None of the games really did anything for me at all. So
Yeah, I think I'll go like C minus. It was same thing. It was just like updates for games that are already out, and like the ones that they did show were like, yeah, it wasn't enough information to be really compelling. And then the one thing that was compelling for me was announced before the show happened, so it kind of lost its steam before I even got to see it. C minus.
okay, so that wraps up Square Enix. And then we've got a couple of smaller ones. There was Gearbox, and then there was Capcom. Gearbox, really quickly. I didn't watch this one, but a little bit more about Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, and then
I'm actually excited for
God.
the movie. Apparently, they did a lot of like behind the scenes stuff about the movie, which I
Yeah,
think it's
they
actually turning out pretty good. Kevin Hart's going to be in it.
yeah,
Kevin Hart, yeah.
Randy Pitchford did a little bit of a behind the scenes, so definitely check it out if you haven't. But Gearbox is relatively light on news. Godfall is getting released for PS4, so all three of you that bought Godfall, be excited that it's going to PS4.
It's crazy,
Um,
man.
I pre-ordered that game. Holy fuck, am I glad I didn't buy it. Capcom
I heard Capcom. I
got
didn't watch Capcom, but I heard it was really bad.
I got Rocksmith Plus, and I didn't get my fucking Mega Man. No Mega Man at all. You gotta be kidding me, man.
Resident Evil DLC
Yeah,
is coming out.
Capcom was like some
Reverse is coming out.
Monster Hunter Rise DLC, I think.
I wonder if we'll
Um,
ever get a new Street Fighter game.
Yeah, I thought we were gonna see 6 for sure, but nope, nothing.
All right. One last fleeting thought on the Xbox Game Showcase. Sorry, really quickly before we dive into Nintendo, and that'll be our last one. Um, I actually think that the Xbox conference was made better by the fact that they did a deep dive today. So kudos to Xbox. I actually think the idea of doing like an extension where they did some deep dives into Hellblade and some of the games that weren't present at the keynote on Sunday. I think it's perfect. Like if you could focus on game trailers the way that they did on Sunday, a little bit heavy on the CGI, as Devin said, but not a lot of gameplay. But if you have a secondary event like the one that they held today that gives you deep dives into combat and the ideas and maybe some more footage of gameplay, I am down if that becomes a standard where it's like main showcase and then an hour and a half where you get to actually kind of host some talks with developers. So kudos to Xbox and the team there for doing that because like that was pretty exciting to see that they were doing an extended showcase, to then like hear that there was going to be updates on games or at least some dialogue around games that we didn't see that were that I know I'm excited for, like Hellblade. That's pretty sweet. So if we see that in the future of E3s and other gaming events, I think that would be a pretty cool idea and takes away from some of the stuff that really doesn't belong. And I think those showcases where you can just show trailer after trailer, like when they talk to devs for 10 minutes, like do that shit on a separate stream. So kudos to Xbox for doing that because I think they did a really, really good job of breaking that portion up. All right. Last big one. Nintendo. Devin.
Yeah.
I'm gonna read it all out and then I'm gonna go to you first, all right?
Our
I also-
certified Nintendo boy, Devin.
I
Right.
also would like to point out that they too had a very similar setup where they did like game announcements and then here's a whole bunch of dev deep dives, which I'll get
Right
into.
after they did it
Yeah.
right after a post too, a couple days where Microsoft did it a couple days after their event, or
They
like
did it.
3 or 4 days after.
Which they've always
Or
done,
they-
but I think
Yeah.
this year in particular they did it much better than they always have.
Their treehouse.
What games
With
you
Devin
got,
Rice.
Diggy?
Yeah, it was Nintendo. Not to discount Nintendo because they did it as well, and they've done tree houses in the past. But I think the production value of the Xbox One, like having Paris Lily host it and all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff, that's a first for something of that. So
Yeah, and they like
Um,
Nintendo. Like one year, they just announced the like Metroid 2 remake. Like they just announced it at that Treehouse thing. It was like after E3. They're like, oh, by the way, this new game. Everyone's like, what the fuck? That would have been good to put at E3, dude. Like this year, they did
Yeah.
it properly.
Yeah, I did.
yeah, man. All right, ready, Nintendo. I'm gonna ring these off quickly.
Ringing.
Breath of the Wild 2 got a 2022 release window and a new trailer. Tekken's
Banger.
Kazuya Mishima is announced for Super Smash Bros. Metroid Dread. Holy shit. Metroid Dread arrives on Nintendo this fucking year, October 8th. Mario Party Superstars is bringing minigame fun to Switch on October 29th. October, you're fucking busy, bud. Legend of Zelda Game & Watch handheld announced with 4 games coming out November 12th. I
Illinois.
pre-ordered this shit. I want to see it.
No,
It
you
looks pretty-
didn't.
Did
you
you really?
I
did?
did.
You give
No,
him
you
shit for buying
didn't.
Mario All Stars. Did you buy this fucking thing?
I never said I wasn't going to buy this. Gabby made a point of saying that he was not going to buy Mario All-Stars.
I didn't buy it. Kara bought All Stars. We've already established this.
Do you guys share a bank account?
No.
Do you guys share a home?
That's a personal question, dude.
Yeah, we share a home.
Do you share
I bought her
children?
her own Switch. I burnt her Switch.
Yeah, you burnt it?
Fucking burnt it.
You just have a fire outside. Fuck your Animal Crossing, man.
Fuck
Anyways,
Yeah, dude.
keep listening to those games, man. What's up?
I'm just saying. Game and Watch, like it has like a little display thing. Like there's some big Zelda
display
fans
thing
around
with
me.
the
So
screen. It's got little buttons on it.
I mean, I love Zelda maybe as much as you do, if not more, and I would never buy that garbage. Fuck
I wasn't.
that.
I wasn't referring to me. And watch when it comes out. It's probably going to be.
I
in your
gotta cut a
household at
promo
some
about
point.
this thing in my conference talk.
I'll buy it for Logan, you know, just like
The last day it's available, Gabby's like, "Where the fuck can I find one of these? Let's go to Walmart and buy all of them." You fucking loser.
Guys, let's go buy every copy.
Every single fucking copy, dude.
See,
you
I need the
gotta I hope
soundbite.
clip that. You hope you clip that.
I need that soundbite.
WarioWare got announced for the Switch.
that was a
Advance
cool
Wars 1 and
announcement.
Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp will be available
Hell yeah.
in this holiday. That's pretty
I've never
fucking
played
exciting.
Advance Wars.
That was sick. That one was very exciting.
Sparks of Hope got a new gameplay trailer, which is the new Mario Rabbids. Life is Strange True Colors and Life is Strange Remastered is coming to Switch's library. Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy cloud version is headed to Switch. Please, if you're gonna buy this game, don't buy it for Switch. The cloud versions do not run well. They have high latency. Just save yourself. Mario Golf Super Rush will receive a free update post-launch that includes new golfers and courses, including Tiger Woods. Pretty fucking exciting. I
I
added the
missed
last
that
bit.
update.
I added the Tiger Woods part.
Oh,
Um,
I thought he was actually gonna be in there.
No, but I made it sound like it, right? Then Fatal Frame, Maiden of Blackwater was announced. Dragon Ball Z Kakarot is making its way to Switch, which is a pretty fun Dragon Ball game if you're a Dragon Ball fan. Super Monkey Ball Mania announced, or Banana Mania. Shin Megami Tensei 5 got an official release date. Monster Hunter Stories 2, Wings of Ruin got a new trailer. Danganronpa Decadence collects 4 Danganronpa games into one visual novel package, so that will be out. I think it's as the anniversary edition. Danganronpa 2 and then 3 and then S, I think, are all included in that package. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater is coming to Switch on June 25th. 1 and 2, the remasters, Doom Eternal, Ancient Gods available on Switch. Strange Brigade is a co-op third-person adventure that is available today on Switch. This was on a Tuesday. Just Dance is coming to Switch. God damn it. Worms Rumble, and then Cruisin' Blast Speeds onto Switch in fall. Cruisin' Blast is what it's called. It's an arcade classic,
Yeah.
and that's the whole thing.
You okay, Gabs?
Sorry.
You're good, man. You're good. Your mic's peaking, so we can't hear you coughing. You okay, dude? You got some water?
Don't talk shit about Game and Watch, bro.
Oh, I'm worried about Gabby. Hold on.
He went off cam.
Yeah.
I'm worried about Gabby. Hang on. Take a fucking bite of your pizza.
Well, I'm just waiting. He's coughing pretty
I'm
bad.
so concerned, dude.
Well, what am I gonna do? I can't do anything but wait.
Well, don't fucking eat the pizza. Wait till he's back on, dude.
Well, I might as well.
I'm so worried about Gabby. And then just fucking bite a pizza.
Well, like, I'm not going out of my way to get this pizza. Like, it's just right in front of me.
Think about what you could have done differently to support Gabby while he chokes to death.
I said, Gabby, you okay, dude?
Yeah, now he's
Yeah.
gone. He's off camera. Gabby,
oops.
can you give
Yo.
us? Yo,
Oh.
are you good, man?
Yeah, my throat just got super dry, so I had to get some water.
I just saw you, like, you just started, like,
Wincing?
and then the coughing. Okay. So, Nintendo.
Did you change your shirt?
Oh, no, it's the same
No.
shirt you had on.
Okay, my bad. That was like that's a weird way to come back, but okay.
So
Doors
they, yeah,
open.
they had a pretty good mix of like what they usually have, which is like here's a bunch of games that are already out that aren't on Switch yet are now going to be on Switch. like those Danganronpa collections and a couple other things, the Doom DLC. I'm honestly like really impressed with the Metroid announcement. I was like tickled pink by that. There was like so many little layers to it where I feel like they played it so well. Specifically, like starting out by saying Metroid Prime 4 is like it's being worked on, it's happening, but we don't have anything new to show, and you're kind of like, damn it. And then they're like, oh, but we do have this new game, and then they start showing you a new Metroid game, and the first thing they show you is Metroid 5. And then, like, as a longtime Metroid fan, you're kind of thinking, like, holy shit, like, they're making, like, a old school, like, 2D Metroid game. And then they start showing you screenshots, and you're like, oh, fuck, it's 2D. And then they hit you with the title. I don't know if you guys know much about that title, but, like, that game has been rumored for a very, very long time, to the point where, like,
15 years it's been rumored.
Like, Metroid Prime started putting teases in their games about this game. And I don't even think this was, like... I don't think the game that came or that they announced is the one from 15 years ago. I think they named this game after the rumor. Like, I think they were like, let's just call it that because it's funny. And like, I think it was super smart. But yeah, it was like a really, really well done announcement, like kind of giving you bad news and then just kind of hitting you with this, by the way. And then to top it off, it's coming out this year as well. So like, it's not even super far away. So we talked about earlier, like the deep dive that they did. So that was the first game that they showed off. And it was cool to kind of sit there and like watch someone play it for like 15-20 minutes, talk about some of the new features. They talked about how the studio who developed the game I was talking about earlier, Metroid 2, the 3DS remake, once they did that game, they kind of like had faith that they were going to be able to kind of make a new 2D Metroid, like a brand new game from scratch again. So it was kind of cool to hear like the behind the scenes about it. And then after that, so after we got Metroid, we kind of got like a bunch of nostalgia bombs. So the Mario Party game also was really cool because they had Mario Party 100, which also came out for 3DS, which was like poorly timed. Metroid and Mario Party both came out when the Switch was already out. So it was like kind of hard to want to go back and buy a new game for a 3DS. So to get the new Mario Party and to have it like be visually updated the way it is super, super sick. I really appreciate like getting those old maps and old mini games. Another thing in the treehouse which they did, which was really cool, was they showed the pictures of the old Mario Party maps like on N64, those like crazy like pre-rendered backgrounds, and then the version they have now, and like it's just insane how much better it looks. And then they fucking did it again right after with Advance Wars, which was like I never really heard much about this like being a thing, so like that caught me off guard completely. I really enjoyed Advance Wars. I wouldn't say I'm like a super huge fan, but I did play like both the games and the DS one, and I really, really loved them. So it was cool to see them get remastered and kind of remade and not just re-released, because they released there's an indie game called Wargroove that's like super, super similar to Advance Wars. So they could have just re-released Advance Wars as like a package, but it's cool that they like, did 3D visuals and whatnot. They just, I feel like they kept it going. Like WarioWare is another one, like kind of an old series that they're bringing back to Switch. Also buffed up again to like look a lot better, play a lot better, and kind of take advantage of some of the Switch hardware. What else did we miss? I really enjoyed I don't really care much for Monkey Ball. I really enjoyed the announcement for it because like they kind of teased it as if it was going to be a Donkey Kong game, and then you're like, oh shit, like finally a new Donkey Kong, and then it was that ape from. This smiley ass little monkey is chilling with his ball. It was a good Smash Bros esque moment, and then there you go. Smash Bros is the kind of the final thing I'll touch on. I don't know. I'm kind of curious to see how Gabby feels about this one. So I'm like a pretty decent Tekken fan. Like I think it's probably one of my like more favorite fighting games next to like Mortal Kombat and Smash.
I could care less.
I was like
nothing for me.
Yeah, I was kind of like The character they chose is like not. He's okay. I
feel like they've done way better.
Yeah, with like the other guest fighters, you mean?
Yeah, like when you get like Cloud, even Sephiroth, and like like that caliber, even Banjo. Like I don't know, just something. I don't like. I've never really been the biggest Tekken fan, and I know that's probably why I don't really care about the character at all. But
yeah, I'm really curious. I am curious how they're gonna work.
She's already in it though, right? Like,
no, he's got like a.
This is the first Tekken character, no?
It is, yeah. Heihachi's got a Mii costume, but that's it. Okay. I'm really curious to see how they're going to work the Tekken gameplay into it, because that's like one of the cool things about the guest fighters is they always try to like borrow stuff from their games. And Tekken's thing has always
look
been
at Ken
like,
and Ryu, right? Yeah.
yeah, and Tekken's thing has always been like limb gameplay, where like each of the 4 buttons is like your left arm, right arm, like left leg, right leg, which obviously the Switch is not going to have. Like in Smash Bros, you only have A and B, so I'm curious to see how they're going to do that. And like you called out Heihachi, and like he's typically the guest character when Tekken is kind of given to another franchise, so I'm glad that they didn't choose him, but there's so many other cooler Tekken characters that they could have used, so it sucks that they used him because he's just like, I don't know. He's very similar to like Geese, or what's the
They
dude?
should use like Jin or something, man. Like,
Yeah, even Jin would have been cooler, but he's very similar. Like Ryu, Ken, Terry, or is it Terry? Yeah, Terry Bogard. Like
Terry,
a lot of those guys are just going to start to feel like very similar, I think. But you know, we got one more left. Infinite's not out yet. I'm still holding out for Chief, dude. I still hope Chief is gonna be
oh,
that
buddy,
character.
if they drop Chief in Smash Bros, I will lose.
I think
my
they're gonna
mind.
time it for when it comes out, right? Because they want to like. They
You
want
think
people to be
so?
pumped about.
That would be pretty damn hype and smart on Xbox, like Microsoft's part. That'd be huge.
They got to leave a big one for the end, dude. They can, there's one more left. They got to make it a big one.
And this is the last
announced that there's
DLC
only
pack,
one?
right?
And
Yeah, there is one. Yeah,
Kazuya was number 9, so there's one more. Yeah.
that's
So that's
wild.
nine fighters have been announced since. Is this is the 9th fighter?
This is like after him will be the last one from the Fighter Pass 2. There's only one more left to announce.
How many fighters have been added to the game since launch?
10, I think. After 9, 10 will be because I think there's 5 for each pass.
Okay.
Yeah, 5 for each pass. Yeah. Did they say they're making a Fighter Pass 3, or do you think it's done after 2?
I don't know actually. I honestly don't know. I
Could you
think
see-
I
I
could
could
see
see
them
them-
another one. Oh, sorry. Go
I
ahead.
could see them supporting Ultimate as like an ongoing thing. Like I don't know if they're gonna make another Smash. Like Ultimate seems to be a culmination of all Smash, so I could see them supporting it like well into the future with future
Yeah, they're gonna Mario
fight
Kart 8 it.
passes.
Just keep it going.
Yeah, but like why not? Like
Smash platform.
what would you like to fix in Ultimate? Like what's wrong with Ultimate other than the online play?
That's it. The
It's-
online play.
It's pretty fucking good. That's what I'm saying. Like if
Yeah.
there's a way that they could kind of fix the online play, and that's more on the Nintendo services side than I think it is with the actual game itself. Like game's pretty fucking good. Like it really is kind of an ultimate version of Smash. So where do you go from here if not just continuing to add fighters? So
I do like
I
Smash
could-
Ultimate Deluxe that has like the fighters included.
Yeah.
yeah, so you don't have to pay for all the individual passes, but
Yeah,
I-
it's all
I-
the
Well,
same.
it,
Music.
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe type
Yeah,
It
shit.
just-
exactly.
it just doesn't feel like you're gonna get a Smash Bros like anytime soon. You know what I mean? Like it feels like this is gonna be the Smash Bros, the definitive Smash Bros for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, I can't see another one on Switch for sure.
Okay, well that pretty much wraps up all of the major ones. So Gabby,
Oh,
thoughts on
grades.
Nintendo?
Grades for
Yeah, we got to
Nintendo.
do grades.
My thoughts on Nintendo. I think the only thing that really did it for me was Zelda.
I didn't even talk about fucking Zelda.
We let's talk about Zelda, man. I'm
It
fucking
was just a big old trailer,
super
yeah.
hyped.
It was
Dude,
a
the
Super
Game and
hyped. That
Watch.
trailer.
The Game
That
and Watch
trailer
was so
was-
good, dude.
okay. I didn't
Okay,
cut my
I'm like,
promo.
I
dude.
just stopped talking all of a sudden. I guess I just like whatever. Like,
I
it's
do.
cool.
Game and Watch.
It's all good.
Guys, remember when you completely just interrupted me in the middle of my Xbox thing and asked us to move on to the next conference?
That was Devin, by the way, not me.
Yo, we're
Okay.
almost at 2 hours. I'm just trying to keep us in
First
a
of all,
reasonable time frame.
it's Thursday, so again, all of us are a collective today. If you interrupt me, then Devin also interrupts me. It's the same.
I'm
fucking
just saying, Breath of the Wild 2 looks fucking dope. I hope they hit 2022. I'm not holding my breath. After seeing that trailer, I think I do want to play Skyward Sword again, just because it seems like they're taking a lot from it, a lot of influence, being a lot of like I guess floating islands and like if it's gonna be Hyrule again, but as well now you can be in the sky as well. I don't know. It looks fucking
Nintendo
sick.
fucks you, bro. That's exactly their marketing strategy. Let's show them the fucking sky because Skyward Sword comes out in a month, so we can get people to fucking want Skyward Sword. It's the same reason they didn't announce anything else for the Switch because they know Skyward Sword would not live up to the other games if they announced them first, if they announced Twilight Princess or any of that other shit, and it's fucking working.
This is
And you're the
my
perfect example of that shit.
this is my problem with Nintendo, Ortega, is they make a brilliant announcement like this Metroid announcement, and then they go, okay guys, it's Zelda time, and you're like, oh my god, is Majora's Mask and Ocarina finally coming to Switch? And they're like, look at this fucking
Game and
Game and
Watch.
Watch, and you're like,
Yeah.
you fuckers, man, like
You
every
fuckers,
time.
yeah. That is
Like, I don't
the
want this
dumbest thing I've ever seen in
stupid
my
Game
entire
and Watch
life.
toy, like
But just to touch on Zelda real quick, and specifically Breath of the Wild 2, it's really cool that we're seeing like this whole Ocarina Majora's Mask with Breath of the Wild 2 type of vibe, where it's very much the same type of world, just as Majora's and Ocarina's was, but like in a lot more of a darker,
Dark setting.
creepier setting. I'm all for it because Majora's Mask is still one of my, if not my favorite Legend of Zelda game of all time. So
it is
I'm,
my favorite Legend of Zelda game.
it would
I
be
agree.
nice to play it on
I'm-
Switch.
I hope so, man. I hope
Yeah,
so because I don't want to
enjoy
pull up
playing
my 3DS to play Majora's Mask. You know
Do you
what I
think?
mean? I
Are you
wanna play
asking? Are you asking whether we think we'll get it on Switch?
Oh, I
I
want
hope
it on
so.
Switch, but
I-
enjoy fucking playing Zelda 1 on your stupid Game & Watch, Ortega. You had Majora's Mask on Switch, but now you got...
I didn't fucking personally fund it, man. It's just available and I'm buying it. What do you want me to say? Like,
But I do we want to do grades for Nintendo real quick?
I didn't personally...
I want to
fund
I
Yeah.
want to grade Devin. Fuck you.
it. F you is my grade.
F minus. Fuck you. Minus.
My Nintendo grade? I'm going B+ for Nintendo.
Yeah, I go B. No pluses or minuses in my grades, just straight up just letters. I go B. I go B.
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 There was never a chance Gabby was going to give anything but Microsoft an A. I just want to point that out. So,
And that's not true. That's not true, dude. That's not true. If Nintendo dropped the Mario or Donkey Kong, this easily would have been an A for me. Easily. I don't care. I've never played Metro before in my life, but I do appreciate that there's a huge following for it.
Why are you getting so excited? I made a comment. Don't worry about it.
I'm
dude.
just saying. Nintendo could have been an A for me, but it wasn't. I'm gonna
Okay.
give it a B. B's a good
Yeah,
one,
I'm
man.
gonna need you to pull your funding from the Game & Watch, dude. Please.
Yeah, I can't believe you pre-ordered that
Is
garbage.
it- I haven't paid for it yet. Just saying.
Not too late.
No, I have until October 9th or whatever the fuck, November 12th, whenever it comes
You
out.
could-
Anyways,
You could
No,
buy your
what are you
Nintendo
grading,
Online
Nintendo?
subscription for $5 and you play those games.
comes with Amazon. Don't need it. Also, it's a piece of shit. Don't need it. I'll give it a B plus. I think the Metroid thing is huge. Like I don't think that they're like that. The fact that is coming out could be like overstated. Like and I mean the pacing. You know what? I'll give it a B. The pacing fucking sucked in some ways. Like the fact that they build up to this Metroid reveal. And then, like, it never really quite reached that high again, and that was like halfway through the conference. I feel like
Breath
that.
of the Wild was a pretty good way to end it, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not taking away from that, but like Zelda does have its own special segment, but like for me it should have been everything lead up to Metroid, go into Zelda, and like your last 15 minutes you would have been like, what the fuck just happened? Like we just saw Metroid 2D and then Breath of the Wild trailer, like holy balls. Instead, like there's this moment where you kind of start to come down from the high of Metroid Dread with things like some of the remasters and stuff like that, and then you kind of ramp up again for the Zelda thing. So
They
it's just
had me,
pacing.
like, it was like Metroid, and then they kind of kept me going with those little like Mario Party, WarioWare, Advance Wars. It's like they were just kind of like, oh shit,
But I
oh
just-
shit. Like it was a good.
There's a part of
they
me.
hit the
There's a
spots
part
for
of me that would have come out of that. Like if the last 15 minutes was here's Metroid 5, here's Breath of the Wild 2 trailer, and here's like a little bit of a segment on like Zelda, like that would have gotten me going. Like I would have left that and been like, wait a second, what the fuck did I just watch? Like Metroid 5, Breath of the Wild 2 trailer, like back to back. Whereas you do have kind of those lulls in it, right? So I'm not knocking it because I think like the announcements themselves, like I think like warrant a B plus. I just think the only thing I would have changed is like put Metroid in at the end, man. People wanted that game for a long time. That would have been a really, really great way to like end it before you get it into the Zelda segment.
It was a nice
That's
bait and
it.
switch though of Prime's not coming, but check this one out. Though.
Check this one out, yeah. And even just like the way that they kind of put Metroid 5 up, it looked like it was like this game is probably years away because it's fucking they just put it up in the most simplistic
number,
manner. And then we got date, title, everything. Like that's amazing. So
And it looks like they're taking like they in the developer. I know Gabby, you said you're not really like you haven't played many of the Metroids. You're not super into it. But they said almost like they did with Halo back in the day with like what 3 was supposed to be is like this is kind of like the end of Samus's story with the Metroids, and they're kind of like they said they want to kind of like start fresh from here on out. So maybe it looks like they're trying to reimagine the Metroid franchise a bit. And like you can see in this game, like there's clear stealth and horror elements that Metroid hasn't usually had. So maybe we'll see some other cool games coming out of them after this one.
Nice.
I was lucky enough to have gotten one of the special editions, and I'm still on the hunt for the amiibo for Baptista because I know that he definitely wants them. So
Oh,
shout out to
nice.
him because he sent me the Amazon page, and that the special editions for Metroid games sell out in like 30 seconds flat. So we were both able to get one, but the amiibo are still
I didn't
we're
know
still
there's a
looking
special
for.
edition for that game. James is gonna be pissed.
It's like a steelbook and then some art cards. Like it's nothing
Oh,
crazy, but yeah, anytime you see anything like special edition like that for a first party Nintendo game, like it's a pretty fucking big deal. Like they tend to
Buy
go
all the
really quickly.
copies.
Gabby's already fucking reselling. He's at Walmart day one.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, B for me, B for Gabby, I guess, and then B plus for you, Deb.
yeah.
Okay. All right, dudes. Well, that was E3. So I think I think overall, I'll give the show kind of a rating overall. I give it a B minus. I think there were some really, really good positive things. The Microsoft conference, the Nintendo conference, some not so great things. It was a very clear indicator to me that E3 I don't think needs to exist anymore. To be quite honest, like I like the idea of having a week of like really, really dense announcements, but like man, outside of the two conferences, so outside of 3 hours, like there wasn't really anything this week that had me kind of giddy or really excited. So I don't know. I personally feel like this just kind of validated a lot of what we talked about last year, which was why can't we have something that runs throughout the entire year and we see announcements, every so often. I like the idea of having like a week, kind of similar to like to this week where there's maybe a lot of information that gets shared, like it's just kind of an agreed upon industry thing. But I don't know if E3 itself needs to be to go back to what it was before, nor do I think it can go back to what it was before with big entities like Sony not participating in it anymore, and some other publishers and big companies also saving their announcements for their own platforms, including Xbox and Nintendo and Ubisoft and that kind of stuff. So we'll see next year potentially maybe some changes, but overall this year E3 B minus for me. Some exciting moments, nothing spectacular. My game of show, I guess, so to speak, was Forza Horizon 5. That game looks fucking unbelievable. And then the surprise for me, the surprise announcement was Metroid Dread. So I'm pretty happy with those two announcements, if nothing else. But dudes, what about you? Overall game, E3 score, and then your most surprising announcement and your game of show.
I think the overall score. I think I'm gonna go with a C plus. Like in general, it was pretty lackluster. I think COVID was like pretty like it was very obvious how much it's impacted things this year. Definitely agree that like going forward, I think they got to really like rethink how E3 goes down and like I'm okay with these little like direct style like summer game fest style like have these like cool little events, but I much preferred when they were all like condensed on one day. Like I don't like having to like make sure I have like a week off to like have an hour of time to watch something that may or may not be worth it. So I liked it better when it was
Yeah.
like Sunday, cool, I can watch the whole thing. So surprise game of the show, Metroid Dread. I didn't think that was gonna happen, and I was literally screaming. Like I had to text my roommate to be like, "I'm sorry, dude." Game of the show though, I don't know if Elden Ring counts, but I'm saying Elden Ring because like, oh man, I'm so happy we finally got to see that game, and like I consider Summer Games Fest this the beginning of E3, so
Yeah,
already started like
I
reading about the
count. I
rumors and
count it.
stuff. Yeah. Elden Ring's my
That counts.
that's my game of the show then.
Uh,
All right, Gabs, what about you?
I think overall, I'd say B minus. I do think that there's a lot of learns from a lot of companies that if they're gonna do an event or a showcase or whatever, that they can do it a lot better. Like we talk about the Koch Medias and like Square Enixes and like all these developers that like I guess they're trying to figure out how they want to go about it. I do think we're gonna see Ubisoft and I think EA has already been doing it, but like I think we are gonna see Ubisoft do. I don't think we might never see them do like a regular E3 anymore. They might just do their own UB forwards whenever they want throughout the year, as we were speculating. But it was cool seeing some things. I think for me, I guess the game of show for me, was Halo. For me, I'm super pumped for Halo. Got emotional watching it, and then for me, I guess the surprise for me was Somerville. I'm really pumped up for that game. Oh yeah, Somerville. I would say Somerville. I hope we get to play that soon. Did we get a release date for Somerville? I don't even know.
2022.
Yeah, I hope. Yeah, it's gonna be great. It looks really cool.
Cool. Well, that's it. That pretty much wraps up our week. We did not get. I mean, we could take this conversation offline, but I know that we were all hoping for a little bit more of just opportunities to be able to kind of like chat and have some more insight into kind of developer conversations and stuff like that. We really didn't get the opportunity to do that all that much this week. The E3 portal wasn't always stable, and
It
so
was
there was.
really, really bad, man.
Yeah, I'm trying to, still go to E3 2022, so I don't want to say it was really, really bad, but it definitely had some opportunities, we'll call it that
You
much.
just
So
said I don't think E3 needs to exist. I was like, yeah, I want to go to E3 2022.
I didn't say that. I said I don't think it needs to exist the way that we expect it to exist in the past. I think this year
Uh-huh.
is a jump off point for that.
That's
But
not what I clipped.
you want to clip the part where you literally just said it's just straight up bad.
They're gonna like send us an email, be like, your application has been rejected in those sound clips.
Like it's over already, dudes. Wouldn't even use
That's
it.
funny.
But no, I think there was definitely an opportunity for us to maybe engage a little bit more. But I'll be honest, like the portal just wasn't very intuitive to be able to kind of find out where we could engage and how to plot time on different developer schedules. Plus, we kind of got our media access pretty late, so we didn't get a chance to kind of plan out the show as well as we wanted. So the hope is that in the future, if we cover other game shows, and I'm sure we will talk about them even if we're not covering them as media, we will try to plan a little bit more and have a little bit more content throughout the week. And then yeah, we'll continue to meet everybody up to meet as the three of us on Thursdays as part of Or It's Free. But this pretty much wraps up our E3 season announcements. I think we're gonna have a lot to talk about in the next couple of weeks, though. I anticipate that we're gonna see. We know we have EA Play coming on July 22nd. Summer Game Fest really just kicked off, and I do think that they're based off of what they shared around Death Stranding. We're gonna see more in the next few weeks. I think that that's an indicator that we'll probably see something from Sony in the near future as well. Whether that's like a small little state of play or whether it's something as part of a Summer Game Fest. So not quite done with gaming this summer, obviously, because there's a lot left to happen. So.
And it never ends.
All right, EA Sports. All right, dudes. We've been running for almost 2 hours. Thanks for joining us, everybody, live. Thanks for everybody joining us live on Twitch. We'll be back same time next week on this exact channel. You can check us out on social media. In the meantime, at the slice to on Twitter. But yeah, we'll see you next week. It's been a slice. It's been a Dr. Ice, Dr. Slice. Bye.
Love you all. Dream over. Remember, see that meme?
No.
Sorry.